Are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
From the Ingles studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. Rafael Nadal withdraws from his Wimbledon semifinal tomorrow against Nick Kyrgios with a torn abdominal muscle. Nadal won the first two majors of the year. Kyrgios advances to Sunday's final. On Saturday, two women will be playing in their first Slam finals. Ons Jabeur and Elena Rybakina win their semifinal matches today. In a Russian courtroom, Phoenix Mercury center Brittany Griner pleads guilty today to bringing hashish oil into the country. That plea could be the first step toward a prisoner swap that could bring Griner home. ESPN's TJ Quinn.
The thought was Russia will require an admission of guilt from her before they sign off. Why not do it in court? The other concern is, could she plead, throw herself on the mercy of the court, hope for possibly better conditions and maybe a shorter sentence?
Griner's been detained for almost 5 months, and the trial will continue in spite of her plea. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports Grizzlies guard John Konchar will get a 3-year extension worth $19 million.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com. And a welcome into the Sportsocracy. It is a Thursday afternoon here in the Ingles studio. Always brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. Title sponsors here for the Sportsocracy. Heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app and seen everywhere on YouTube. Don't forget, if you want to get in immediate touch with the program, all you got to do is go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that gets you your ticket into the chat.
I troll that live, so if you see the little beer mug, that's coming directly from me. So if you want to tell me to do anatomically impossible things, as some of you did on Twitter yesterday, you can do that.
Yeah.
But I did win the daily draft yesterday.
You did.
By a sweeping, overwhelming.
I don't think I got one vote.
I didn't see one.
I don't think there was one person that said, Tank was on it with the throwback jerseys.
You got some on Instagram, which is funny because I would have thought that would be the place you would do the worst.
Well, and it is what it is. So we're 1-1 so far with the daily draft segment, top of the third hour of the program each and every day here on ESPN Asheville. Today we're going to do NFL busts of the last 10 years. There's quite a lot to choose from. Jeremy and I will be drafting the bustiest of the bustiest. And players, NFL players. Get your mind out of the gutter. Stop it. We're moving on.
Well, I mean, we're talking about busty draft picks and slotty wide receivers. So this is a slightly nefarious football show we are.
The 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day. Who is the biggest NFL bust since 2012? Weigh in on our social medias. Also weigh in the chat here. The winner will be entered into the weekly drawing for the 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery prize pack coming up tomorrow afternoon at the end of the program.
And this is... I'm going to rehash something that got me in trouble with Clevelanders last year. I firmly believe the biggest bust of the last 10 years is Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. And yesterday was just proof positive of it. Now, what people hear when you say that is he's the worst player of the last 10 years. That's not it. There are other things that go into this. Mm-hmm. Josh Rosen was popular on our social media. That lasted for 1 year. They got draft pick compensation. They were the worst team in the league. They drafted Kyler Murray. I cannot side with Josh Rosen.
Okay.
Was he the worst player? Sure. He couldn't play dead in a Western if you gave him 4 guns. I just can't say he's the biggest bust because he didn't have the most nefarious impact on his franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I can argue the only reason that this Cleveland Brown team was not high-level Super Bowl competitive was Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
You had good weapons. You had one of the best running back tandems in the league, a good young offensive line, a good young defense, and a good young coach. The one thing you didn't have, quarterback.
Was the quarterback.
And you took him at one.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Browns go to Brown. It's that's what they do. Draft bust seems to run in the Cleveland Browns, history. And I have a feeling when the daily draft comes up at the top of the third hour of the program, you'll hear a couple of Cleveland Browns mentioned.
You might have a Brown or two. I can neither confirm nor deny what my draft board looks like.
We're also going to talk some baseball on the program today. Caleb Peak going to join me in the studio at the top of the next hour at 4 o'clock. We're going to talk some baseball. This is the weekly Make Me Care segment about baseball. We're coming up on the halfway point of the season. The Yankees continue to roll, and we'll look at some of the other big headlines out of the baseball world over the course of our time with Caleb Peak.
Caleb is also doing double duty. So, I mean, we got to give Caleb his flowers. He's been filling in for Eddie Fox this week.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is a guy that's been in the building since 5 o'clock this morning, and he came to me and said, we're still doing that segment, right?
Oh, yeah. Well,
if you're in, I'm in.
I have a feeling he doesn't get the chance to talk much baseball on the Eddie Fox show.
Oh, I'm sure. But he has been doing a great job at that. I have to give Mr. Peak his flowers.
Glad to hear he's been doing well. We also will be talking about the best defensive duos in the NFL, all sparking off of the idiotic comment from Micah Parsons yesterday that he and Trayvon Diggs could one day be better than Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
I don't know that it's as idiotic as you think it is.
I think it is. I think he's just way out to lunch on Trayvon Diggs' side. And again, like I said yesterday, putting yourself in the class of an all-time great after 1 year in the league, it's frowned upon. How about that? We got rumors circulating around some teams that could be leaving the ACC to join one of these super conferences, and the North Carolina Tar Heels. Yeah, the rumor is out there that the Tar Heels are among a quartet of ACC teams that are looking to join the SEC.
And I am going to do my favorite thing in the world.
Play the game of Who Wants You to Know?
No. That's up there. I'm a big fan of that game, too. I'm going to break my tinfoil hat out of my desk drawer.
Okay.
And go full conspiracy theory. And it not only has to do with the ACC, it not only has to do with a program that is an affiliate of this here radio station, it also has to do with this here program right here. I have gone full #birds aren't real
full
conspiracy theory. Next hour. I can't wait.
Can't wait for it. In the meantime, we're going to talk about, of course, the news of the day. The news of the day yesterday is still the news of today, at least in the Carolinas, as Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther. And, man, I still don't hate the deal. I just don't like the prospects of this helping you.
It's a bologna sandwich. Congratulations. Will it keep you alive?
Yes.
Has anybody in the history of time ever looked at a bologna sandwich and gone, yeah?
It depends.
I've never had one in my entire life, so I don't know.
You're weird. You're super weird.
It's a flat hot dog, okay? I'll eat a hot dog. I'm good with a hot dog. I know what it is. That's fine. I don't want to put it on sandwich bread with a little mayonnaise and put it in my face hole.
Mm-hmm.
That is repulsive to me.
Which is very strange because a hot dog is a sandwich.
It's not a sandwich.
It is a sandwich.
It's not a sandwich.
It is a sandwich.
Sandwiches are on bread. Hot dogs are on a bun.
Which is what?
Made of bread. But it's a specific kind of bread.
It's made of bread.
It's very
okay.
different.
So buns are not bread. They're made of bread.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
They're their own independent
that makes
entity.
No sense whatsoever. It depends on how thickly sliced the bologna is, where it comes from, also depends on whether or not you get excited about a bologna sandwich and all the things that you can put on it as well. Cheese, tomato. Actually, I stopped there. Just cheese and tomato would be fine.
The hefty bag, that's what you should put on it.
Hefty bag. Stop that.
Open the hefty bag, put it in the trash can, throw the bologna in with it.
This coming from the guy who had what for lunch?
Gas station hot dogs.
Gas station hot dogs.
I went full Tank Spencer.
Yes, he did.
The closest place that serves food to Radio Ranch, gas station. Food gas station serves hot dog.
Yeah.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I am feeling a little less than ideal after it.
Well, that's just the chances that you take. We've got all of your favorite segments. Thank you.
Go.
That's the word I'm looking for.
It's actually the fourth word you learn in radio. On,
much.
off, power segment.
Just a bit outside your weird news, your crime stories of the day as well coming your way. But the Baker Mayfield thing still is the number one story. And will it help the Carolina Panthers win games this year?
No.
I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say no.
No?
No, because as I did a little bit deeper dive, you just really acquired the same player you already had. We asked this the 12 Bones question of the day about biggest bust of the last 10 years, and several people said something to the effect of, well, Baker won a playoff game. He can't be the biggest bust. I don't agree with you because the expectations are different. When you as a franchise, and you got to remember back to when this pick happened, it was universal that Sam Darnold was the most talented player in this class. There were some teams that thought Josh Allen had the most natural arm, and there were some dum-dums that thought Josh Rosen would be a real-life NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody believed in Baker. You know why? Because he is exactly what he has served to be in the NFL. He's Colt McCoy with a little bit louder of a mouth and maybe a little bit better of an arm.
But the accuracy, that's all I kept hearing in the run-up to the 2018 draft was
61% completion guy.
Baker Mayfield is the most accurate quarterback to come out of college in years. He had, he completed like 70% of his passes when he was at Oklahoma, and that was the thing that was going to make him the best in that class.
And how many quarterbacks since he came into this league have had a higher completion percentage than Baker Mayfield with a minimum of 200 throws? It's 34.
34.
He's 35th. Oh, he's super accurate. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He never turns the ball over.
Yeah,
3.2% interception rate for his career.
Right.
Yeah, he does.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Baker, a bust. How's it going to affect Carolina? All that coming your way next.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles,
See you later, Dad.
all the ingredients for family.
Hey folks, DG here asking you to give yourself the gift of Asheville Smiles here in 2022. Studies have linked untreated gum disease to heart disease, erectile dysfunction, systemic diseases, premature birth, joint issues, and much more. Everything is connected. And seeing a dentist every 6 months is important for your overall health. For top-notch dental care from Dr. Rebecca Merrill here in Asheville, call 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
Let me hit you with some good news here. I got on my scale this morning, and it said 219 pounds. I am just going crazy over the PhD weight loss program because the pounds continue to fall off. We've been on this program since just before Thanksgiving, and I have lost over 70 pounds. I walked in at 295. It is absolutely blowing my mind.
Tank is quickly approaching light heavyweight status in the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to exactly where I want to be. One of my biggest problems was that I couldn't sleep. I'd gotten so heavy, sleep apnea was wearing on me. And now with the weight that I've lost, I'm back to my high school weight, and I'm sleeping like a baby, and it's thanks to the plan and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Nutrition is the key to fat loss. 80% of the work comes from changing your nutrition, and PhD has the plan. MyPhDWeightLoss.com. PhD Weight Loss is the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Looking good, Mrs. Dubs.
The head groundskeeper at Thad's Golf Course just retired.
We need to find someone in the next 2 weeks. Someone with botany and management experience.
He needs a replacement because the greens are already looking a little rough.
Water and aeration, they need to know it all.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Saturday, July 16th, get set to take off with Highland Brewing's Night Flight, a 4.5-mile race that starts and ends at the brewery and features an energetic course through East Asheville and the Beverly Hills neighborhoods. 100% of the race proceeds benefit Asheville Greenways and Connect Buncombe. And runners over 21 enjoy a Highland beer at the finish included in the registration. Register now at highlandbrewing.com and get set for takeoff.
Roger, runner, you're cleared for takeoff from Highland Brewing.
Proudly sponsored by iHeart Media, Asheville.
The Sportsocracy.
Who are we going to cheer for on Sundays now?
I have seen a lot of that reaction from Carolina Panthers fans on social media. You know, not everybody is so swayed by yesterday's move to bring in Baker Mayfield. Like, oh, we're saved from Sam Darnold now. It's like, oh, no, we stuck again.
Yeah.
Because now we have Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Matt Corral. And who cares?
I'm going to say something. And I heard this morning. It rattled around in my brain. And now I've officially come all the way to the, okay, that was not nearly as crazy as it was when I heard it.
Okay.
If you had to pick the quarterback that starts the most games for the Carolina Panthers this year, who is it?
Baker Mayfield.
I disagree with you.
Okay.
I disagree with you.
I don't.
Sam has the leg up of being there for the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
He's also younger.
Mm-hmm.
He also knows the system.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I just think he's more talented. They also have more financial investment. Not that I really think that plays, but it's something.
Yeah, the financial investment, it's one of those things you always think, well, of course, you're paying this guy $18 million compared to the $5 million that they're paying this guy. You're not going to play this guy and not play the guy that you're paying so much more money to. It don't really work that way.
No.
Especially
it's really what people make is grossly overrated.
Especially when the one making the call on who's going to start is fighting for his job.
And just remember, when Tom Brady became Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe was making $11 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Tom was getting paid in popcorn.
Matt Rule will start whoever he thinks is going to help this team win more games because he's fighting for his career here. So, to me, it's going to be Baker Mayfield. Because here's the thing. I think what happens is Baker will start, obviously. Baker will start, and then he won't be bad enough for them to just bench him for Sam Darnold. I don't think that's coming.
I don't know that he can beat him out. That is the problem. Because here's what you got to understand. So Baker has had, I'll say, flashes just solely because I looked in the mirror this morning and said, I'm going to be nice. So you be nice. He's had flashes of being serviceable in the most run-heavy offense in the league.
Yes.
That ain't what Carolina is. It's not. He's also never had a great propensity to check down to running backs.
Mm-hmm.
He's also had never had a great propensity for hitting good deep threat receivers, which is one of the things this team has. Now, you've already heard Robbie Anderson's take on Baker Mayfield, and he ain't overly impressed, and neither am I. When I heard this morning, I said what I'm sure a lot of you did. Well, why would they trade for Baker if they weren't going to play him? One answer: security.
Mm-hmm. If Sam gets hurt, you can replace him.
And Sam
with the
has
same
been
guy.
hurt every year he's been in this league.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, the move yesterday told me one thing, and it screamed it from the mountaintops. You set that third-round pick with Matt Corral on fire.
Maybe.
It's exactly what it told me. And if you don't agree with me, I'm going to need you to explain to me why. Because this is a coaching staff that, as we have said, has 1 foot in a grave, 1 foot on a banana peel.
Mm-hmm.
What did they just do? Guarantee there is absolutely no shot Matt Corral sees the field ever this year.
Agreed.
Which means there's only 3 ranges of outcomes. You're either going to be better than we think, which means one of these quarterbacks differentiated themselves, and now you're going to have to extend them.
Mm-hmm.
You're so mediocre, but you hung around that you probably saw something in one of them that at least gives you a reason to give them a 1 year or whatever the case may be, just to see if they can expound upon that. Matt Rule doesn't get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I find to be the most likely, you're exactly the same team you were. Matt Rule gets fired, and a year from now, that coach is going to want to pick his own quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations. You completely wasted a third-round pick.
Yep.
I will also –
And more than that, the draft capital that you gave up to get it.
That's where I was headed.
Okay.
So I did the background on the draft picks that Carolina has given up to get Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, and Matt Corral. It was a 2 threes, a 4, or 3, 2 4s, a 5, and a 6. Do you know what players you could have also gotten for those 6 selections?
There was a 2 in there, too.
I said it, too. That's what I started with.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, that 2, by the way, was Breece Hall.
So it was
Thanks for that.
So it was a 2, 2 threes, 2 4s, and a 5.
No, there's a 6 in there, too.
Oh, okay.
I know I said it in a confusing way.
Yeah.
A 2, 2 threes, a 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
Do you know what 3 players you could have also gotten for those exact same picks and had a pick left over?
Oh, do tell.
Matt Ryan, Amari Cooper, and Khalil Mack. But you'd have had to have paid them.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You would have had to have paid them. And
you're paying $25 million for the 3 I just said. Which would have paid easily for one of them.
True.
And I guarantee you all of their deals where we'll say they got a little subsidy from the team that traded them.
Yeah, but there was also a multi-year commitment, and in this, you're done after this year.
Where's the multi-year commitment?
To Amari Cooper, to
all of those deals can be gotten out of in a year.
Really?
Yeah, that's how trades in the NFL work. When there's guaranteed money, now you can agree to sublet it or do whatever the case may be. Not one of those. If any of the 3 guys I just said decide, oh, I don't know, I want to make puka shell necklaces in San Diego, they can do that, and it'll cost you no more than $5 million on any of them.
Okay.
You can get away from every guy I just said. And look, I know it's not an apples-to-apples comparison. You have 3 quarterbacks here that are all under the age of 26. I understand that. But when you say it like that, you have to go, okay, this is why some of these teams look more attractive than they did, and Carolina's here. Carolina's here. But I'm not convinced that it's going to be that way forever.
I keep hoping it's not going to be that way forever.
Look, I have long said owners get reputations, and they are very hard to unwind. Cowboy John Roten, big Carolina Panther fan that works here at Radio Ranch with us. We were talking about this morning. You know who David Tepper reminds me of?
Who's that?
Mark Cuban. Remember when Mark Cuban bought the Mavericks, and it seemed like every other day he had some harebrained idea, and that team was horrible. You know what they both have in common?
What's that?
They're both much wealthier than the average owner in this league, and they were trying to throw their financial weight around. They're impatient. They don't understand that this is not like running a tech company. This is not like running Bing.com or whatever it was Mark Cuban made his money off of. There are 32 other guys that are really successful, too, that are competing with you. Mm-hmm. You're not beating four morons that have an IQ that's half of what yours is. It takes some of these owners time to figure that out. It took Jerry Jones time to figure that out. Now, when he did, he absolutely defiled teams in trades and wound up with one of the better dynasties in NFL history. I'm not as down on David Tepper as everybody else, all the Panther fans seem to be. Mm-hmm. I think you have to understand that this is an owner that is finding his way. And how do you figure things out in life? Trial and error. I think he's going to see at the end of this what it is that I've been saying of, I don't really get why you did this.
Yeah.
All you have done is compound an error with another error with another error. And at some point, you have to wipe the decks. And there's one great way to do that. You fire everybody. Mm-hmm. You fire everybody outside of Scott Fitterer, who I do still have some belief in. Mm-hmm. And I'm not – where I was so sour on this yesterday is I thought you would put yourself in a better position to be unable to do that. I'm not as convinced of that. The further down the rabbit hole I went, I felt like I was reading Sam Darnold statistics from his time with my Jets. They're the same guy. Mm-hmm. Just one has a much louder mouth and will probably not play as well in this market as the other one did.
12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery question of the day, the biggest NFL bust since 2012. Who do you think it is? Is it Baker Mayfield? There's also a strong case to be made for Sam Darnold. And now, two of the top three picks in the 2018 NFL Draft are now playing for your Carolina Panthers. When we come back, we'll get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, today we were about the only ones in the whole state of North Carolina without a heat advisory. Pretty good coverage of thunder showers out there tonight. Drifting southeast, low 68 degrees. And scattered thunderstorms with a front trying to pull in for Friday and Saturday. Temperatures in the mid-80s. It will cool us down Sunday. High Sunday, 76 degrees with scattered thunderstorms here in the valley. I'm meteorologist Scott Lariamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If summer is heating up your hiring needs, then you need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job and get hiring today by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with a new way to enjoy our beautiful planet. Energy consumption is a primary contributor to a changing climate, producing around 27% of greenhouse gases in the United States. Save money and energy at home by turning off your computer completely before you go to bed. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/earth.
Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hi, I'm Victoria Salinas, FEMA's Acting Deputy Administrator for Resilience. Hurricane season is here, and you are in a neighborhood that could flood. Here are some low and no-cost tips to help you get set. Store documents like passports and birth certificates in a flood-safe place. Elevate items that you want to protect. Toss out the debris from gutters and drains. Visit floodsmart.gov/set and ready.gov to learn more.
Did you know audio memory lasts 6 times longer than visual memory? That's why businesses advertise with iHeartMedia, the #1 audio company in the country. Reach consumers with radio, podcasting, streaming, and more. Make your business a household name and visit iHeartAdvertising.com or call 844-BUY-RADIO. Grow your reach, grow your business. Call iHeartMedia today. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com or call 844-BUY-RADIO.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
And welcome back into the Ingles studio here on ESPN Asheville. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene, and it's time to get just a bit outside. This is the stories from the sports world that, they don't make the big headlines, but they're intriguing at the very least. And the NFL has taken over everything. I mean, they've taken over the TV ratings. They've taken over holidays. I mean, off-season coverage. No other off-season gets the kind of coverage that the NFL gets because it's now a year-round business. And now they've got their sights set on one more thing, and it's the Olympics. Professional football, I've always thought, basketball is an Olympic sport, and we rule in that. If ever we were able to get football into the Olympics, we would absolutely rule that as well. The problem comes with the cost. Not all countries obviously do the football thing. That's mainly an American thing. In fact, they call it American football everywhere else in the world because their football is, of course, soccer, which is wrong because we're Americans and we're pig-headed, and that's the way we feel about things. But NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent says the league believes that in the 2028 Olympics that are going to be hosted in Los Angeles, they've got a good shot at getting football as an Olympic sport.
That would actually get me to watch the Olympics.
However, not going to be the football that you're used to. Flag football. Flag football. Obviously, as I mentioned, the cost of having a team with pads and helmets and all that kind of stuff, other countries can't afford to do that. But flag football, pretty much everybody could afford to do that. That's one of the things why soccer's so important. All you need is a ball. And every country can do that. Well, today is the first step in making that a reality because today is the kickoff of the World Games. It's a major international multi-sport event that takes place every 4 years in the summer after the Summer Olympics, and they begin today in Birmingham, Alabama. And for the first time ever, flag football is a part of the World Games. So we'll have to monitor this, but over the next 6 years, we may see flag football rise in popularity to the point where it becomes an Olympic sport. And yes, we will crush everyone at that as well.
Poor Jake Paul. Nobody seems to want to fight him. Tommy Fury
That's not true. I think everybody wants to fight him.
There's a lot of us that would love to. Tommy Fury could not get into the country. Allegedly, he had some issues with his visa coming from the UK to get into the country, and so Jake Paul did not have anyone to fight.
Translation, you're not worth my time.
But somebody jumped in to say, I'll fight you, and it's the son of former heavyweight champion Hasim Rahman.
Oh.
Hasim Rahman Jr. will be taking Tommy Fury's place on the August 6th card to take on Mr. Paul. And allow me to be the first to say this is going to be what I've told you was coming for quite some time. If you don't believe me, listen to Jake Paul himself, his business partner, and his manager, who all said, I should never have taken this fight. I kid you not, all three of them in the AP story said, I should never have taken this fight.
No.
Now, if you're wondering, well, but why? He's fought other fighters. No, he fought a basketball player, a couple of UFC guys, but they all had one thing in common. None of them were I don't know, how do I put this nicely? Astronomically bigger than him. That's not a problem with Mr. Rahman because he's 6'3", 225 pounds, has fought as heavy as 283.
Jeez, I didn't even know they sanctioned fights that heavy.
265 is usually as high as will be. That's a UFC thing more than it is boxing. Boxing's different. You got the WBC and all the different classes. I mean, I could do 45 minutes on that, but I'm
Is that like super heavyweight? Is that?
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
In the words of the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, he's a real big dude, and he's a real boxer. He's also 12-1, and he's pretty good.
Wow.
This is going to be.
Does he have like legitimate like heavyweight clout? Like, is he on the circuit?
He's not to that level.
Okay.
He's a good fighter. He's a legitimate boxer that is going to legitimately box.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a very heavy hand. This fight will be $74.99 on the pay-per-views, which I still to this day cannot figure out who pays that. And I have a feeling this will be the end of Mr. Paul's little jaunt as a fictitious fighter.
Or it'll at least be the last time he fights a legitimate fighter. First and last.
I could see this going very, 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 very badly.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Hasim Rahman, he was the one that Lennox Lewis put the big pump knot on his head, right?
Yeah, he's the one that Lennox Lewis got real fat and then went to fight because he thought that this kid, he could have tied one hand behind his back and knocked him out. I want to say it was in South Africa, or the flight was forever away from where Lennox Lewis lived. He showed up and looked like he was in quicksand and absolutely got his brains beat out. And then they fought again, and it was like, yeah, well, I actually trained for this fight. Right. So,
and that was, the rematch was the one where he gave him a second head, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Patrick Holt asked, what happens if Paul actually wins? Okay, I have two answers for that. One, you have to try to harm yourself because you can't hurt yourself in dreams, and that's the only way that's going to happen. Now, let's say in some weird universe, he actually were to even be competitive. I don't think there's a snowball's chance in Atlanta that he could beat him. But if he's even competitive, he will have my infinite respect, and I will never tell another Jake Paul derogatory story on this show ever again.
Yeah, because 6'3", 225 pounds.
Put it this way, the discrepancy in weight, there is not a sanctioning body in this country that would sanction this if it was not deemed an exhibition.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jake is what?
6'1", 190.
6'1", 190.
Last fight, he came in at 191.5.
Yeah, that's...
So he's going to be at no less than a 25-pound disadvantage off the jump against a legitimate, real, honest-to-God big boy fighter. This ain't going to go so well for you.
See, this, to me, should sell more subscriptions or whatever for the pay-per-view than anything else.
I got $5 on it. I will put $5 US on this. I will go no higher.
All right, $5 you can come over to my house and watch it.
It's as close as I'm going to get to it because I'm certainly not paying $75 for it. I would pay $75 for those Alabama national championship rings that Keelan Robinson pawned off. Did you see this? Did you see this story?
Yeah, but he didn't pawn them off. Somebody else pawned them off.
No, he pawned them at the Pawn Stars pawn shop.
Now, the story I read said that some dude named John came in with the rings that were given to him by his dad or his uncle or something, and there was no story on how the family ended up with the rings.
I don't know about any of that, but it came from him.
Okay.
That's where they originated, was with him, and the money allegedly went to him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was the first player that has made use of the NIL rule change that you can profit off things given to you by the school.
Yes. So
I do think it's funny that he transferred, had about as much to do with those titles as I did, and then went, I have these, and you can have them, and took them to the Pawn Stars guys.
$60,000 is a lot of money.
If I had $60,000, I'd buy them. I have a thing. I like title rings.
You have a thing.
I'm a big fan of championship rings. That's why one day I will work for it. My objective is one day I will work for a team because I am obsessed with the idea of being able to wear a title ring everywhere I go. I will sleep with it. I will shower with it. It will be my best friend, and I will never take it off.
So would you be like one of those people? So I'll go back to 2004. Boston Red Sox break the curse, win the World Series. The team bought championship rings for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from the CEO of the Red Sox all the way down to the dudes taking tickets at the front gates. If you were one of those ticket taker guys, you would wear your ring all the time. Okay, I would too.
And
I'm going
to be really honest with you, if I was single, it would be the new greatest wingman in the history of time.
Right.
Hey, look what I did.
It's like my cousin went to Syracuse when Donovan McNabb was there. They went to a bowl every year because this was the heyday of Syracuse football. He was a trainer for the football team, so he carried cables and wrapped ankles and helped guys stretch out before the games and stuff like that. And he would wear his rings all the time, and it was always like, yeah, but you didn't really do anything to get them.
Don't care.
I mean, you were a part of the team.
I don't care if he collected trash out of the locker room. I would wear it every single day, and I would get a tattoo underneath where it sat on my finger that said, if ring is not present, please call 911 immediately.
Right. Hey, if you got it, flaunt it. I think that's the American way. That is the new American way. And that's what the Carolina Panthers are going to try to do with their 3 young gun quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, the number 1 pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. The number 3 pick, Sam Darnold. And the 3rd-round pick that they made this year with Matt Corral. And I guess P.J. Washington is still on the team.
P.J. Walker. P.J. Washington's a forward for the Hornets.
Excuse me. P.J. Walker is still on the team, but nobody's talking about him.
Yeah, no. I hope he rented. I really hope you did not purchase a home in the greater Charlotte area.
He'll be back in the XFL soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, look, but what is the impact? Who are the winners and the losers from the Baker Mayfield trade?
I would argue both teams are winners. I think Cleveland and the Carolina Panthers are both winners.
I would agree.
Cleveland solely because you got rid of the headache. Mm-hmm. You have enough headache out of your new $230 million quarterback. You didn't need the little pipsqueak himself there just making noise.
Yeah.
You need to go away now.
On the Cleveland side, you saved $8.5 million.
I could care less about the money, too.
Well, I mean, but it matters in the bookkeeping. You saved $8.5 million and you got a draft pick.
You want to hear the list of teams with more salary cap space than the Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
You want to hear it again? Because there's not one. I could care less about the money.
Mm-hmm.
You could have told me they paid Carolina $1 million extra to take him. Cleveland's still a winner.
Okay.
Because this is not the kind – there are just certain quarterbacks that are not backups. So this stupid idea that I've heard floated all over the place of, well, they don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, so maybe Baker will just hang around and be the backup. That's kind of like saying, I cheated on my wife, but it didn't work out. And, me and my ex-wife, we're still friends, and I'm hoping maybe we can work things out. Right. I bet you can't. Yeah. I bet you can't. So, no. For Carolina, there's not really a downside, at least with my view of this team.
Okay. I mean, the locker room cancer part, I mean, that plays into it a little bit, right?
I don't necessarily think he is as locker room cancer. I think he is a fan base cancer.
Okay.
I think he's one of those players that fans cannot be rational about. And so that could be a bit of a downside. If he's just good enough that maybe you have put yourself into the same predicament that Cleveland would have been in had Deshaun Watson not come along, then I could say, okay, you should not have done this. Mm-hmm. This is what I was afraid of. Mm-hmm. As of right now, I think he's an insurance policy. They don't have really any intention for the two of them. This is a make nice for the fan base. And Matt Rule, we gave you every opportunity. You had the first 2 quarterbacks selected in the 2018 draft that has produced an MVP and a future MVP. Mm-hmm. And you didn't get one of those.
The first thing I thought of in winners and losers of this trade, looking inside the Carolina Panthers organization, obviously Sam Darnold was the first name that came up. And I think that's still to be determined. He could be a winner. He could be a loser.
How could he be a winner?
He could be a winner if this does that thing that everybody wants to opine about when these things happen of, oh, now this is competition. Now this gives him the competitive edge to really push for the pro. Not that he wasn't going to try to win the starting job anyway, but maybe it sparked something in Sam Darnold that, now we see a better version of him come in with a little bit more edge, a little more aggression to the job.
There is a way that Sam Darnold can be a winner.
Okay.
But it's not what you think.
Okay.
After the break, I'll tell you what that is. Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
There's a lot of talk about heroes these days.
Hey, buddy, you want to go fishing?
The folks in the funny outfits with superpowers and spandex.
All right, buddy, let me help you.
But at Ingles, we know that a lot of our heroes
Now you look like a pro.
are a little closer to home. They're the ones who give us what we need for those everyday adventures. That's why we look up to the ones who look out for us.
Don't forget your fish food. Catch a big one.
Ingles,
See you later, Dad.
all
Bye.
the ingredients for family.
With the PhD weight loss system, I have lost over 70 pounds. I hit my 70-pound mark officially last week, and the numbers on my scale continue to dwindle down. I'm getting better nutrition. I'm getting more exercise. My aches and pains have practically disappeared.
Over the long weekend, I played 2 rounds of golf. To most of you, that does not sound like an over-the-top amount of activity, but for me, before PhD, it would have been. My back would have hurt, but because I've lost so much weight, I'm in so much better shape, physical activity isn't wearing me out like it used to. I'm almost down to my target weight, and it's all thanks to the program and food of PhD Weight Loss.
The absolute all-star of the program, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has the plan to help you drop the pounds and hopefully change your habits so that you won't have to deal with that weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Make this the year you go to our iHeartRadio Music Festival.
iHeartRadio, let's go! Friday, September 23rd and Saturday the 24th.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
Buy your tickets now at AXS.com.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival is connecting all of us.
Capital One is the proud partner of the iHeartRadio Music Festival for the 6th year in a row, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
Wendy's new Strawberry Frosty is here, so check your watch. Is it Frosty time yet? It probably is. The hour hand would be on, I'm feeling snacky. And the minute hand would be on, relaxing with a rich, creamy strawberry Frosty on a summer day, just digging into that smooth, chilly deliciousness and vibing. You know, depending on what kind of watch you have. When it's time for Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Frosty and Classic Chocolate or New Strawberry.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The Sportsocracy.
Hello, everybody. This is good old JR Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer. Boy, these boys are smart. You talk about goofier than a pet coon. Let me tell you something. This show is a legitimate slobber knocker.
Back here in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville and seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. You can get yourself into the chat by subscribing to the YouTube channel. You can also
throw in super chats with like my cousin from another mother, Colin Greene. Watch what happens the first time Baker throws a pick. Also, Cam Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore are an underrated duo. We will be talking about that at the top of the 5 o'clock hour, and I'm not going to lie, that's one that is probably higher on my list than people would expect.
Okay, all right. I appreciate you picking up the slack for me there. So what is your theory here?
So I told you I had a conspiracy theory. This is a conspiracy theory, but it's not the one I was talking about. This is just we'll call this a mini-spiracy.
Okay.
Carolina now has 3 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really find a path where you're going to carry all 3 of these guys. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, maybe that's your thought of, now we know we're covered, we're going to have a starting level quarterback. Maybe that's what you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
There's also another team in the NFL that I'm looking at going, there is no humanly possible way that you're going to go into this season with these 2 guys as your potential quarterbacks.
Seattle Seahawks.
And they also just so happen to be coached by a guy who was the coach at USC for a long time and is still very ingrained with that school, which is also where one of your quarterbacks went to school.
Long time before Sam Darnold.
I'm not disputing that, but there's a lot of carryover between the 2. I'm not saying Norm Chow is still there, but you get what I'm saying.
Right.
I could see a path where Pete Carroll looks at Carolina and goes, you know what? We'll recoup a 5th-round draft pick for Sam Darnold. If you'll do the same thing Cleveland did, if he's willing to give back a little bit of money, we can bring him in that $5-ish million range. And we'll take your problem off your hands. Then if Baker goes sideways, you've satiated the fan base by making the move for Baker. Now, if it goes sideways, as opposed to having to circle between Sam Darnold and 2 quarterbacks that have no future with you, now you can go to Matt Corral, see what you have in him, and still save what could be salvaged of your draft position. Okay. And now I have a young quarterback that is, at the very least, attractive, that's from the West Coast, that's a West Coast kid, and now this is kind of a lower stress situation. Okay. There's no expectation of the Seattle Seahawks. None.
Mm-hmm.
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett would be the best combination of receivers that Sam Darnold's ever played with, and it's not even close. Yeah, I like DJ Moore, but we get to that Robbie Anderson thing, and oh yeah. He just goes, he runs good. He runs fast, real good. And I started thinking this when I saw the Baker thing come down. And where the conspiracy theory comes from here is I can't really find a way that it makes sense for Cleveland with all of the instability that they have to have made this deal for a conditional pick, taking all this money when I feel like you could have done this for Sam, and at least you have security. If they didn't have a plan of some kind, I can't see how that wasn't a one-for-one swap.
Mm-hmm.
You take our headache, we'll take your headache. This satiates your problem. You have a starting-level quarterback to back up Jacoby Brissett, and you have no tie to him beyond this year. And then I started thinking about it and went, Seattle just makes all the sense in the world the more I think about it.
Okay. And there's the tie with the front offices, obviously. That's where Scott Fitterer came from. So maybe he's willing to help out his old buddy.
And those things do happen, too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm just saying how ironic would it be if one of my all-time favorite prospects flamed out with my team, then flamed out with the team that we are an affiliate for, and then went to stardom with the team that I have just constantly dude on since the minute the name went on the door.
Well,
that would be the most Jeremy Greene, New York Jet loser of all time possibility ever.
I think you can punt that idea of stardom right out the window.
You know what? Until Sam Darnold retires, I'm not tapping on the idea that he could still be good in this league.
Yeah.
I heard Nick Wright say he's the worst quarterback in this league, and I wanted to throw things at the television.
I don't think it's that bad. I can't agree with Nick Wright on that, but
nobody can agree with Nick Wright on anything.
He is not good.
Nick Wright could tell me his name, and I would fact check it.
I know a lot has been made out of the Robbie Anderson thing. Robbie Anderson, is now famous, I guess, for tweeting when one of the stories came out about the Carolina Panthers being interested in picking up Baker Mayfield. He tweeted or Instagrammed or whatever.
He tweeted no in all caps.
Yeah, and he had to walk that back a little bit. And he said, look, I said what I said. Those were my thoughts at the time. And I was just backing up the guy who's my quarterback now, who's Sam Darnold, who obviously he has a long relationship with, played with him in New York as well. I don't think this is – I don't think it's anything
it is what it
beyond.
Now, I will say, stop Twittering. Robbie Anderson, please stop Twittering.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you Twitter, you give us something to talk about, and that's not good. Hey, what's that bear doing?
Yeah, I also noticed how he's changed the spelling of his name. Like, he's now gone with the IE on the end rather than the Y. It's weird. I saw his Twitter account, and I went – that's weird because, look, when I was a kid, that's what I went by before I became Tank. I was Robbie, and I was, like, the only IE. And so now I pay attention to that kind of thing.
Were there any other grandiose losers to you? See, to me, Sam Darnold, barring a move to Seattle or somewhere that he actually has a path to playing time, because I don't want to see him running back in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even if he's good, there will still be a section of the fan base that's going, but Baker.
Yep.
That makes you the loser of this. I've heard a loser constantly, and I don't agree with it.
Who is it?
The San Francisco 49ers. Because the feeling is now you have shoehorned yourself of now there's nowhere for Jimmy Garoppolo to go, and so you overplayed your hand.
Mm-hmm.
This happened too quickly. He hasn't started throwing yet. My argument, I actually think this makes them a winner. Because now they have plausible deniability on why they didn't trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
Mm-hmm.
If they were dead sold Trey Lance was the no-doubt guy and he's going to come in here and make us Super Bowl contenders, Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't be on this team. Whether it was outright cutting him, trading him for a bag of footballs, whatever it took to get him out of the building, it'd have already happened.
Well, I don't think they were ever going to outright cut him. And the fact that
it's $25 non-guaranteed $1 million, so it's a much more realistic thing for Jimmy Garoppolo than it ever was for Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. And, teams are going to shy away from a guy who's hurt.
And that's all well and good. But now, if you're John Lynch, it's not a story. It's not a story of why is Jimmy Garoppolo still on this team? Because we haven't ever sent him.
Right.
We're not going to send him in the division. No other team needs a quarterback. So long as no starter gets hurt in the preseason or in camp or anything like that, we just never send him. So we'll you know what? We'll hold on to Jimmy. We just want to be buddies.
Right.
Like we agreed to pay him the money. Somebody needs to pay him the money. Secretly in the back of your head going, there's our parachute. If this Trey Lance thing doesn't work out this year, we at least have Jimmy, and we know what Jimmy can do for us.
You are in the Sportsocracy. Sports Center is coming up next, and we'll be joined by Caleb Peak. Let's talk some baseball.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, today we were about the only ones in the whole state of North Carolina without a heat advisory. Pretty good coverage of thunder showers out there tonight. Drifting southeast, low 68 degrees. And scattered thunderstorms with a front trying to pull in for Friday and Saturday. Temperatures in the mid-80s. It will cool us down Sunday. High Sunday, 76 degrees with scattered thunderstorms here in the valley. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy milk burrito.
Wendy's new Strawberry Frosty is here, so check your watch. Is it Frosty time yet? It probably is. The hour hand would be on, I'm feeling snacky. And the minute hand would be on, relaxing with a rich, creamy strawberry frosty on a summer day, just digging into that smooth, chilly deliciousness and vibing. Depending on what kind of watch you have. When it's time for Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Frosty in classic chocolate or new strawberry.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
What if one day you went to your secret hiding place, and instead of what you came for, you found a phone number, 1-800-662-HELP? What would you do? Would you stop and give it some thought? Before drugs take their toll on you and your family, know that there is help. you can quit. For help with drug use, call 1-800-662.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
From the Ingles studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Doug Brown. Rafael Nadal withdraws from the Wimbledon semifinals today with a torn abdominal muscle. That sends Nick Kyrgios into his first Grand Slam final. In the women's semis today, Tunisia's Ons Jabeur becomes the first Arab woman to reach a Grand Slam final, and she'll play Elena Rybakina, who beat Simona Halep in straight sets. Brittany Griner pleads guilty today to inadvertently bringing hashish oil into Russia. ESPN's TJ Quinn.
The hope is that this might create some momentum. It'll show Russia, hey, look, we're not going to embarrass you. We're not going to fight it. We know what you want. We'll do our part. And maybe that's enough to get a deal going.
TJ Quinn on First Take. Even with the plea, the trial will continue. Griner will be in court again next Thursday. The Stanley Cup champion Avalanche get goaltender Alexander Georgiev in a trade with the Rangers. In that deal, New York gets 2 draft picks tonight and a third-round pick next year. The Penguins will sign defenseman Chris Letang to a 6-year extension worth almost $37 million.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400, as I called it earlier in the program. This is our weekly Make Me Care segment. As Caleb Peak joins us here, he is the baseball savant of Radio Ranch, and this is the weekly time where we get together to talk a little baseball.
I'm here for it.
So, all right, you're here for it. Now, tell me, what's going to happen? We're getting up close to midway point. All-Star breaks coming in, 2 weeks, week and a half, something like that. We've got the trade deadline coming up. Is there a name on the trade market right now that we should all be watching?
As far as trades are concerned, let's see here. Not really. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Nothing that really just sticks out. Everyone seems to be pretty much cemented where they are because, the players that teams need, they've locked them down, but with the exception of Aaron Judge. And that's those contract talks, earlier today, Hal Steinbrenner said they're not even going to bother bringing that up over the course of the season. Winning a World Series is top of mind, as it should be. So
absolutely. You've got a chance to break the record for most wins in a regular season. I don't think that the Yankees are going to add to the distraction or add a distraction to the role that they're on right now.
Exactly. And with the problem, the rash of injuries kind of all across the majors, it's an abnormal year because of that shortened spring training where, a lot of guys are underperforming, but they all have their reasons why they're underperforming. Like Anthony Rizzo, he's been decent for New York, but he hasn't been the Anthony Rizzo that he was in 2016 with Chicago. But that's still not enough of a reason to trade him away because he has been your cornerstone in New York. He has been your rock. When you needed him to come off of the bench and give you a pinch hit, he's done that. When you need him to step up and swing the lumber, he's done that, just not consistently. So, at this point in the season, it's hard to know who's on the block and who's not unless you're just really, really deep in the knowledge. And I don't, you would have to show me the money.
Each and every day here on ESPN Asheville, we get to hear Braves baseball. The Braves are one of the hottest teams in Major League Baseball right now. They have risen in all of the power rankings. They have turned around a sluggish start to the season. And I actually saw, according to Fangraphs, they have redone all of their percentages for winning the World Series. And would you like to take a guess at where the Braves fall in on the chances, according to Fangraphs, to win the World Series?
As far as the odds are concerned?
This is their statistics. They go through and they figure out who's got the best chances, and so it's a percentage. And the number one team, I'll tell you that the Braves are not the number one team. The number one team with the best chance to win the World Series has a 15% chance.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's got to be New York.
Nope.
No.
It is not.
It's not New York.
It is not.
Either
It's
of the New
Los
York
Angeles
teams.
Dodgers.
No. No.
Yeah, the Los Angeles Dodgers, according to Fangraphs, has a 15.6% chance of winning the World Series. That's number one in baseball right now.
Interesting, because I mean, do the Dodgers have a chance? Sure, they do, but I mean, that's a holy starting rotation right now, and not the good kind of holy, not the praise be kind of holy. I'm talking about pieces missing. With Walker Buehler, you hope Walker Buehler comes back in time. I mean, will he come back in September? Sure, but Mike Soroka was supposed to come back for the Braves last year, and we haven't seen him yet.
Right.
You never know how these things are going to go. But 15%, I mean, I can get behind that percentage for the Dodgers winning the World Series, but I don't think that should put them in the top. I mean, I would say the Yankees have I would give them a quarter. I would give them a 25% chance to win it all. Braves, I would have them coming in at 20 to 1 would be my odds for the Braves to take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think the Braves finished, though, in this Fangraphs thing? That was the question then.
I see. Okay. So it's lower than 15% then. Is it single digits?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 7%.
No. I'm talking place. Like, in all of baseball.
Oh.
Where do you think they were on the statistical analysis?
Oh, I see. Oh, as of late, top 5. They got to be probably 4th.
2. They're number 2.
Okay.
According to Fangraphs, the Dodgers have I was wrong. It was a 15.4% chance.
You weren't wrong.
The Braves at 15.2% chance.
Interesting.
To win the World Series. Then it goes Astros, Mets, then the Yankees. How's that even make sense?
I don't know.
See,
the Astros in third place.
We got to throw this out. I'm not buying any of this, but it came from Buster Olney, so I mean, maybe he put stock into the Fangraphs thing. After the Yankees, it goes Padres, Brewers, Blue Jays, and then my Red Sox down at a 2% chance.
How are the Yankees not at the top? I mean, I know I'm talking to a Red Sox fan here, but the numbers tell the tale. Now, they had a couple of bad outings over the last 10 games.
I don't know. I give them. I go higher than you. If you're asking me to put it together, I'm going Yankees got a 30% chance to win the World Series. I would say, the Dodgers. Actually, I would probably put like the Mets second, then the Dodgers. I guess I'll include the Braves at 4. But other than that, nobody else has got a shot to win the World Series. Like, I think if it's going to go to somebody, outside of the National League, it's going to be the Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, I think the NL is much more wide open, like you said, than the American League. I mean, the Yankees are just dominant top to bottom from the rotation all the way down to the bench. They are very, very, very solid. And Aaron Boone I got to give him credit. He's an incredible manager. I mean, he's a little hot-headed. He finds himself tossed more often than not. But hey, I'm a Bobby Cox guy. I'm here for it. Right. I'm completely here for the fire coming off of the bench. But yeah, the NL is interesting because the Mets are so streaky. We're talking about streaks. The Braves have been the epitome of streaky. You talk about the slow start. I mean, it was a terrible, pitiful start to the season. And out of nowhere, the Braves turn it around, and they've been one of the best teams in baseball. The Mets have been consistently there. Hasn't been their greatest stretch over the last month or so. But, I can say that while still saying that the NL East had 3 of the 4 best teams in baseball over the month of June. It was the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets in that order as far as the 3 best records are concerned. Just cleaning up. So that'll be the thing for Atlanta, is sustaining this momentum, just because they rely so much on the home run ball. I mean, it's such a home run centric offense. It's been that way for about a decade now, especially since you add Ronald Acuna Jr. and you add all these other big bats. Adam Duvall is, you can't get rid of the guy. He's a parasite, but if you're an Atlanta fan, he's the best kind of parasite. He goes away, comes right back and contributes, and then you cut him again, and next thing you know, he's back in Atlanta contributing again. Now you got Rosario back. You've got Tyler Matzek back, which is a key component to the night shift. You saw the backhand glove play he made the other night. That's the kind of play he makes innately. It's just natural. That's the kind of ability that you can't coach. So the pieces are coming back together for Atlanta, but can you sustain the run? And for New York, you have to think that the Mets' run is coming later on. I just don't see them being as middling as they have been for the rest of the season. I think for a lot of these teams, they're just trying to nurse it through to the All-Star break because the push is coming. When you get into August and September, you talk about playoff baseball being the best that you're going to see, as it should be, but it's that final month of the season that really is the bellwether. It's the barometer for what you're going to see in the playoffs, because you're not quite on a playoff pitching schedule. You're not quite into the every third day rotation that you would say for the the championship series or the World Series, but you're throwing out all the stops. I mean, your top 5 are out there every chance you can get. You're not giving out any more off days to your most important players. Your key guys are there. They're expected to contribute. And, this chart, this is the kind of nonsense that we do to kill time in the early portions of the season. We've got time to play with it. We can throw these numbers out there for people like you and I to raise immortal Cain about it. But the fact of the matter is, nobody really knows at this point.
No, because it's the second half of the season where the narratives are made, where the narratives begin to build. I mean, obviously, the first half of the season, you're getting your ducks in a row. You're trying to figure out. Everybody's just trying to stay healthy. It hasn't worked out for a lot of teams. I mean, look at, you already mentioned the Dodgers and the laundry list of injuries that they've been dealing with, especially in their pitching rotation. Boston Red Sox, the same thing. Now, granted, Chris Sale's coming back, made his last rehab start last night. Now, I know it didn't go well. He did end up walking in a run.
It didn't go
got him taken
poorly.
off the mound. I mean,
he's throwing 96.
Yeah, but he's in AAA. He pitched 3 innings and threw like 78 pitches.
76 or 78 pitches over 3 2/3.
Right.
So I mean, he was chucking a bunch. But his stuff, I read some of the interview that he did earlier, and the thing about Chris Sale is I like confidence. He may be a bit too overconfident coming in, because he's saying that his stuff is so good right now that it's too good. And I don't know exactly how that works out, because 5 walks is not great at the AAA level. You need to at least be able to get into the 5th inning so you can get that quality start. But it's not going to be bad for him to go back to Boston, because the Red Sox don't have a starting rotation at this point, with Eovaldi on the injured list, with Sale on the injured list, with Rich Hill on the injured list. It goes on, and now you're down to prospects that are your go-to guys. So anybody coming back, any sense of return to normalcy for Boston is going to be a good thing, especially with this 4-game slate against New York starting tonight. I feel bad for your guys.
I'm so not looking forward to it, because here's the thing. We all freaked out at the beginning of the season, Red Sox Nation. Everybody was on the ledge about this season, because we started out the year with every other series was Yankees, Rays, Blue Jays, and then we did it all over again. And then you don't have to play the best teams in Major League Baseball, which I still consider those guys, those teams amongst the top half of the league, at least. And guess what? It's coming. You got 4 with the Yankees starting tonight, and then you got 4 with the Tampa Rays, and then you got 4 more with the Yankees before the All-Star break, and then after the All-Star break, you get the Yankees again, you get the Cleveland Indians, you got all these contenders coming down the road, and so now you're going into a meaty clacker part of the schedule here where it could absolutely ruin it. The run that you've made in June, because we're like 20-6 or something in June. It was insanity.
No.
But, we're getting to the halfway point, And we're at the halfway point here with our time with you, Caleb Peak, here on ESPN Asheville, talking some baseball. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
With the PhD weight loss system, I have lost over 70 pounds. I hit my 70-pound mark officially last week, and the numbers on my scale continue to dwindle down. I'm getting better nutrition. I'm getting more exercise. My aches and pains have practically disappeared.
Over the long weekend, I played 2 rounds of golf. To most of you, that does not sound like an over-the-top amount of activity, but for me, before PhD, it would have been. My back would have hurt, but because I've lost so much weight, I'm in so much better shape, physical activity isn't wearing me out like it used to. I'm almost down to my target weight, and it's all thanks to the program and food of PhD Weight Loss.
The absolute all-star of the program, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has the plan to help you drop the pounds and hopefully change your habits so that you won't have to deal with that weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Wendy's new Strawberry Frosty is here, so check your watch. Is it Frosty time yet? It probably is. The hour hand would be on, I'm feeling snacky. And the minute hand would be on, relaxing with a rich, creamy strawberry Frosty on a summer day, just digging into that smooth, chilly deliciousness and vibing. You know, depending on what kind of watch you have. When it's time for Frosty time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Frosty in classic chocolate or new strawberry.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Saturday, July 16th, get set to take off with Highland Brewing's Night Flight, a 4.5-mile race that starts and ends at the brewery and features an energetic course through East Asheville and the Beverly Hills neighborhoods. 100% of the race proceeds benefit Asheville Greenways and Connect Buncombe. And runners over 21 enjoy a Highland beer at the finish included in the registration. Register now at highlandbrewing.com and get set for takeoff.
Roger, runner, you're cleared for takeoff from Highland Brewing.
Proudly sponsored by iHeart Media, Asheville.
O'Reilly. Change your vehicle's oil before your summer road trip and save money now with Pennzoil and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic for just $22.95 after mail-in rebate. Save money and protect your engine against sludge and wear with the synthetic oil change. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Wise words of wisdom for our in-studio guest here every Thursday at 4 o'clock, talking baseball with Caleb Peak. Yeah, the bra is just, it distracts me when you button up a little bit, and it doesn't go with your outfit. Yeah. See, this right here is why you need to be in on the YouTube stream, thesportsocracy.com. Click on the live video link. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get into the chat with us each and every day here in the Ingles studio. And, okay, so we're talking baseball. We're getting close to the trade deadline. On Friday, we're going to find out who the starters for the All-Star game are. Have you given any thought as to who some surprises might be? Starters for the All-Star team?
It's like we said at the top of the segment, I think it's so cut and dried this year. I don't think we're going to see very many surprises because the cream has risen to the top. I mean, the best have been the best. It looks like, I think there was some talk that Max Fried may be able to get the start on the mound for the National League side. I mean, probably the biggest surprise to me is going to be behind the plate with Wilson Contreras from Chicago. He's been good. I didn't really think he had been starter in the All-Star game good, but he's been reliable. And in a year like 2022, reliability and consistency is carrying even higher of a curve, even higher of a payload than it normally does. So, that reliability is going to reward Contreras. It looks like he will get the start behind the plate. So Fried to Contreras is an interesting connection. Really, the surprise for me was how Brian Snitker, being, the winner of the World Series last year, gets the automatic bid to manage the All-Star team the following year. And he also has the discretion to add whoever he wants onto his roster. And so he did the classy thing, what Dave Roberts from Los Angeles did not do, and that was add Davey Martinez to his All-Star game coaching staff. Davey Martinez for the Nationals when they won their 2019 World Series. Of course, the 2020 season, no All-Star game was played, and he never got a chance to manage or be on the coaching staff. So Snitker's going to make that right, even though it's a divisional rival. I think that's pretty classy.
Awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Snit's a good guy. Let's talk about Shohei Ohtani.
How can we not?
Because this dude is just he's incredible. The fact that he can be as elusive on the mound as he is powerful with his bat in the batter's box. It's just, it's one of my favorite movies come to life. The Scout. You remember that movie?
Briefly.
Brendan Fraser?
A little bit.
Where he played Steve Nebraska.
Oh, that's the movie. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember now.
Yeah,
I'm like Jeremy when it comes to movies. You gotta paint the picture.
Even baseball movies, that surprises me.
I'd prefer to watch the real thing.
Yeah. Well,
I've still got a stack of your DVDs at home. I need to bring back to you. By the way,
they've been long forgotten.
Gave those to me years ago. I got through a couple of them.
Well, that's good. That's good at least. Shohei Ohtani has now gone 4 starts without giving up an earned run. That's insanity.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely wild what he's been doing. Actually, first time since at least 1920. We don't know how long it's actually been, but it's the first time since RBIs have become a statistic that a pitcher has, let me see if I can decipher this, that he's racked up 10 strikeouts, 2 RBIs, and a stolen base in a single game. First time ever.
Yeah.
As far as RBIs, as long as RBIs have been an official stat. Incredible. I mean, we don't see players like this at any level of the game. And the Angels are in 4th place, 16 games out of first place. And I saw,
and it doesn't make you wonder why Joe Madden got fired. Like, you have 2 of the of what should be baseball's biggest stars in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and you're in 4th place.
Mike Trout has been disappointing. I mean, he's had a couple of web gems. He's looked decent in center field. The bat has been slow, and he just hasn't looked like the $150 million man that he is. I mean, he's a shell of his former self, and you get the sense with Mike Trout that the hourglass is running out. I mean, time is just ticking. Time has not been his friend, and I was convinced that he would get his first ring 4 or 5 years ago, and now I'm convinced that it's never going to happen.
Well, he's just one of those players that's always been on a crappy team, and he's going to have to, go somewhere else to try to win a title, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. He's going to spend his entire career with the Los Angeles Angels, and he's going to have no rings to show for it.
Yeah, Mike Trout he's the West version of Bryce Harper, which you always thought Harper. Mike Trout is Harper without the attitude. We'll give it that treatment because Harper was supposed to win a World Series too, and it's never going to happen for him either because he's always been, as much as I hate to say it, the best player on the team, and he has Earlier in his career, he had a control problem. He found himself ejected and tossed and just always kind of behind the 8 ball when it came to his peers and the umpires. You need to find out how to get a leg up from time to time. As he's aged and matured, quote unquote, he's gotten away from that, and now the injuries are beginning to plague him. Now, the last one wasn't his fault. I mean, Blake Snell with a fastball that hit him in just the right spot on the thumb, that would have broken my hand. It probably would have taken my hand clean off the wrist. For Bryce Harper, it turns into 3 or maybe 4 pins inserted surgically. He says he's going to be back. We'll see. If he comes back, it won't be anything close to what we're used to seeing out of Bryce Harper. But, back to Mike Trout. He now has help, and it's like as soon as he gets help, he's nowhere to be seen. With both he and Ohtani contributing, he's got pieces around him, but those two are far and away the only thing that the Angels have going for them. And now with Trout not doing anything, Ohtani is carrying the load by himself. I think, let me try to quote this without having it in front of me. I think the Angels are 6-1 in the last 7 starts that Ohtani's been on the mound, and they're 2-6 in the last however many games, the last 8 games without him on the mound. It's night and day.
Right.
When Ohtani is running the show runs very well. He's a great game manager because he doesn't let you get out of rhythm. He maintains things. He maintains order. He keeps everyone in line. He keeps the game flow progressing. And when he's not on the mound, when he's sitting in the dugout watching everything else go awry, there's nothing he can do to stop the bleeding. And the Angels are just, they don't have the answers. They are not in control of their own destiny because one good player does not a baseball team make.
Right.
So, I mean, it's disappointing.
And the arm has been alive for Shohei Ohtani on the mound in the last 50 years. Only 7 pitchers in Major League Baseball have been able to rack up 40 strikeouts and give up 0 earned runs in a 4-game span, like Shohei Ohtani just hit that mark last night. And here are the names: Max Scherzer, Chris Sale, Clayton Kershaw. He did it twice. And then you got to go back to 2012 with R.A. Dickey. Remember those days when R.A. Dickey was a thing. Johan Santana, we all remember him from the early 2000s.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Chan-Ho Park was the other one.
Nice.
And it had never happened in the last 50 years, or I guess earlier than the year 2000.
It's elite company, is what that is. It's the best in the business, and Ohtani is right there among them. An ERA of 0.27 this season. 0.27. 16 hits allowed and 33 innings and change, which is, you do the math. Every other inning, he's not allowed a hit. Half of his innings pitched have been 1-2-3 innings, or hitless innings, rather.
The next question becomes, will he be a New York Yankee soon?
If Steinbrenner has anything to do with it, and Brian Cashman, you better believe
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, because they have the money to spend on the luxury tax.
There's no question about it.
There's no reason why they wouldn't.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be one of these that's going to get caught on a crappy team like Mike Trout has been for his entire career. Shohei Ohtani is going to hit the big time with one of these big teams soon.
And all this does is show you how useless these lifetime contracts really are. Throwing all your money at one guy in this sport is the worst thing that you could possibly do because it's so hit or miss. It's so unpredictable. The guys that are supposed to be your big-time ballers, they more often than not, I'll go out on a limb and say the majority of the time, they turn out to be A, a bust, or B, a shell of their former self. And that's been the case with Mike Trout.
All right, next week we will catch up with Caleb, and we'll be talking about the All-Star break. We'll have rosters to talk about, surprises, possibly some trades to talk about, as well as the baseball season hits the midway point here very, very shortly. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat advisories continue for large chunks of North Carolina into the evening. Couple of splash and ash storms in from the west. A muggy 72 degrees tonight here across the foothills. More thunderstorms for Friday and Saturday. Highs near 90. Cooler numbers Sunday, Monday. Looking forward to that. That's your Hickory Metro weather from the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore on Oldies Radio for the Hickory Metro.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
We've got some trouble in Buncombe this afternoon. Right lane blocked with a wreck now on 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Haywood Street. Again, right lane blocked with a wreck here. A lot of slow traffic. As a matter of fact, traffic slowing all the way back to Charlotte Street and also Haywood Street as a result. 26, both directions, moving delay and accident-free. No accidents to tell you about on I-40 at this time either. Tom Miner with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Sign up for Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program and get exclusive rewards to help level up your business. Program subject to terms and conditions, valid through 12/31/22. See lowes.com/L/pro loyalty terms, subject to change.
As a marketer, you want to reach everyone, adults, teens, millennials, but it's not like these groups all hang out in the same place, right? Actually wrong. They're all right here, listening to radio commercials just like this one. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM/FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Hi, I'm Victoria Salinas, FEMA's Acting Deputy Administrator for Resilience. Hurricane season is here, and you are in a neighborhood that could flood. Here are some low and no-cost tips to help you get set. Store documents like passports and birth certificates in a flood-safe place. Elevate items that you want to protect. Toss out the debris from gutters and drains. Visit floodsmart.gov/set and ready.gov to learn more.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me, too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Naloxone saves lives. Learn more at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
There's a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines, and everyone has an opinion. So I went to somebody I already trusted, my doctor. Talk to your doctor or healthcare provider and make the decision that's right for you. Go to getvaccineanswers.org for the latest information. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
At Ingles, we're all in for summer. Whether you're hitting the trails, hitting the water, or hitting the golf ball, we have everything you need for the perfect picnic, the greatest grill out, and the best beach vacation. We know that the mountains are calling, the open road awaits, and that pool party is ready to rock. So head on over to Ingles and stock up on all the goodies to get you through your summer of freedom. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
I'm going to say this story goes full on Vegas as being the top of the weird stories. So in San Antonio, police officers were called to a residential area just after midnight on Tuesday. What happened right after midnight on Tuesday?
4th of July.
Yeah, that's right. And this was apparently a quote-unquote firework mishap. Police and first responders found the victim suffering from severe head trauma with brain matter exposed from his skull.
That's not good.
The victim, identified by the Bexar County Medical Examiner's Office as 43-year-old Pablo Ruiz, died shortly after officers arrived on the scene. Ruiz's friend, who witnessed the fatal incident, said that Ruiz had been drinking. No shocker there. And he chose to impress everybody at the party by lighting off a mortar-style firework. That's the ones with the little tube that you light the ball and drop it, and it shoots up into the sky on his head. He put the tube on his head, and instead of it shooting out of the top of the thing, it exploded at the bottom of the barrel. I always say this: play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Don't do weird things with fireworks. What? How
Just
could you
don't do
think
weird
that
things,
was a good
period.
idea?
Just don't do the weird things, period. Mine is weird things. New Zealand is weird.
Yeah.
That's just okay, it's a weird place.
Uh-huh.
They have a law that apparently has it's rubbed some people the wrong way, and they feel like this needs to be revisited.
Mm-hmm.
Surely you're thinking if this is getting attention now, it has to be about inflation or some great problem with the world. It's not. It's their public defecation law.
Oh, gosh.
So apparently in New Zealand, they have a law that it is an offense to defecate or urinate in a public place other than a public lavatory.
I feel like everybody has to have that rule.
But there's a but. If the person can show they had reasonable grounds for believing they were not being observed, they can escape the $200 fine.
Really?
Well, apparently what that has led to is a lot of people going into the woods, finding very dark, secluded places near waterways and doing their things. And now it is polluting groundwater that people are using to water their plants.
That sounds familiar. That sounds like, Asheville.
Oh, the French Broad? That's not poo. That's bodies. That's people. I see how you confuse the two. They both start with P. Just, okay, don't do weird stuff in public places. In your own yard, that's fine. I know legally it's not, but it is. But why is this a thing? If you're doing it so often that it's a thing, you're doing it too much.
Yeah. 100%. I don't know. I've never done it outside, so maybe it gives you some sense of freedom or something. I don't know. Getting in touch with your animalistic nature, I have no idea.
If you had the phrase "done it outside" on this here program, you have Sportsocracy bingo. And I hope it's the last time it's ever said on this show, because I literally just felt all of my skin crawl at the same time.
All I'm saying is there's some things that need to stay private, and your ablutions are definitely falling into that category.
That phrase and ablutions in the same segment. That's Thursday.
Breaking news came out earlier today. According to SwimSwam is a website that tracks the collegiate swimming sport. And,
yes.
Oh my gosh! And I never thought we'd be taking cues from them, but I guess their lead guy over there is reporting that the next shakeup in the college conference chaos is that North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, and Clemson are all in the process of negotiating to join the SEC.
His name is Braden Keith. And I've heard a lot of people say, stay in your lane. You're just a swimming guy. I would be remiss if I didn't point this out. How many times did I get told that I was just a hick sportscaster from a little mountain town nowhere near Houston or Cleveland? How many people got the Deshaun Watson thing right before me?
Right.
Would you like to hear the list again? So don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Now, I will tell you, every ACC team is actively looking for a life raft. And this is where you get the Jeremy Greene, July 7th, tinfoil on my head, conspiracy theory of the week.
I can't wait to hear this one.
So this has to do with this here radio program and this here radio station, because we are a North Carolina affiliate. And up until Tuesday, we had a show on this network called Packer and Durham.
Mm-hmm.
It was an ACC network show, and then it went away. Why would that happen? Why would it happen a week before USC and UCLA take off to the Big Ten? Who runs the ACC network?
The conference?
No.
The ESPN.
ESPN.
Mm.
So if you're ESPN and you're looking at conference realignment and you're seeing all of the things that are happening, what would be one of your first acts to maybe make the conference look a little less appealing? Maybe you take away their morning show. Maybe you stop spending money with the ACC network to put original programming on. You don't think ESPN knew this before it happened? You don't think they had wind that USC and UCLA were potentially going to make a move? And if they did, it would make every team in the ACC piddle in their pants and look for somewhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the ACC and you lose, whether it's Clemson, whether it's Florida State, no matter what you lose, there's not a member institution in the ACC you can lose and it not hurt. And I've said from Jump Street, I don't see a path of the ACC surviving. There's one damning piece of information in that Braden Keith piece that he put out about these 4 teams looking at the SEC. ESPN's trying to invalidate the ACC deal.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you everything you need to know. This deal was overly good for ESPN. It was one of the worst deals that's ever been signed in the history of media rights. It was so bad that they convinced the schools in the conference to sign over their media rights until the end of creation to avoid from jumping ship because they knew other conferences were going to beat it.
What was it, like 2035?
2036.
2036.
Well, here's the thing about that. It's funny. It's funny how one little story and one little snippet can tie a bunch of things that I've heard together. Because virtually every person I've talked to over the course of the last week in reference to the ACC, they say one word every time I mention it. Lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell you? That tells you that all of these schools have already figured out, we have a way out.
Mm-hmm.
This grant of rights thing, oh, don't worry, we'll get out of it. Don't worry, that's not going to be an impediment. And even if it is, and even if we have to cut a big check to gain our media rights back, we'll make it back being in one of these super conferences in no time.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say not only do I think this report is accurate, I could see it happening quickly. Now, I can't tell he's got the teams right.
You've got to do – I mean, I think it's going to happen quickly because you've got to do it now. You got to be one. You got to be on the front end of this thing.
You have to, if you're the big high end powers, of which, if you really break it down, there's not that many properties left in college athletics. I mean, I'm not even going to take it out of college football. You take the 3 revenue generating sports, which are football, men's and women's basketball. College baseball makes some money down here in the South, but predominantly it doesn't.
Right.
So you take the 3 big money-making sports. There's only about 12 schools that really generate money that aren't tied to conferences. And many of them have problems. Florida State has a problem. They print money. They hurt your academic standing. Clemson does pretty well money-wise, and they're very competitive. They hurt your academic standing. And they're not actually in a major market. Yes, they're right outside of the Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson market. Yes, they're right outside of Atlanta. The problem is that they don't really bring you either of those markets. North Carolina has a problem. You're tied to 2 schools. Sports freak Brian Hall and I were talking about this before the show. I don't feel like North Carolina can make a move and leave NC State out. Duke's private. Duke is a school that everybody will want, not because they're good at football, but because if you're looking at that academic progress index number, Duke, Stanford, and Notre Dame, if you have those 3, you can have a bunch of Floridas. Floridas.
Right.
Sorry, I have to throw shade at Florida anytime this comes up. And I look at this, and there's one layer of the report from Swam, which is a fun term to say. Very well-named production. There is one element that when I went down the rabbit hole, there might be some validity to it. I haven't had it specifically said to me, but that gentleman's agreement within the SEC keeps coming up. But it's not where I thought it would be. Apparently, Kentucky is adamant Louisville's not ending up in the SEC.
Right.
They have drawn their line in the sand. This is not happening unless you want us to start looking for our own greener pastures. So take Louisville out. To me, they're almost invalid. Apparently, Tennessee has a qualm with North Carolina, which I don't really understand, and Florida has a qualm with Miami, which I don't really understand. But I get why the Florida State thing, that's gone the way of the dodo bird. Because if you're the SEC right now, where your advantage lies is your top 8 programs are better than anybody can do. It doesn't matter if the Big Ten gets every major program left on the board. Mm-hmm. You're still better than them. But where they can get you is in depth. If you start having Vanderbilts and Missouris, there have been reports that they're trying to get those 2 out of the conference. I can tell you right now, I will invalidate those right now. That has been told to me expressly. That is way harder than you think. You can get hit there. You can get hit in the bottom section of the conference if the North Carolina quadrant, which I put Wake Forest in that, even though they don't really belong. The Clemsons, the Florida States, if those move to the Big Ten, now, okay, our stranglehold on college football is not what it used to be. And now I'm not going to say irrelevant. That's a part of this you have to look at. If the Big Ten takes all of these basketball schools, because I've heard they've even called on Kansas, which is irrelevant football-wise. But why would you do that? Because we can make the lion's share of money in basketball. Oh, yeah. And that media deal's coming up, and Turner likes having it because it's ready-made content for 3 weeks. This is going to be an absolute sideshow, and I can't wait to see who the next one to jump is.
The story from Swam today is that sources are saying that North Carolina, Virginia, Florida State, and Clemson negotiating to join the SEC. Now, obviously, as a Tar Heel fan and born and bred Tar Heel here in the state of North Carolina, I don't like this for one specific reason. There's no Duke. There's no Duke, and what is the impact of that on basketball? Because that's what we really care about.
I don't think it's going to be over the top. That was something that Brian Hall said to me earlier, is you can't have Carolina without Duke. Sure you can. Absolutely you can. You play one non-conference game a year in basketball. You're telling me that doesn't make that put just an absolute microscope on that game?
Oh, yeah.
Now you can play in the tournament much more freely because you don't have to meet in the Final Four. Oh, that can absolutely happen. And my example was there was a time where we thought the Big 8 conference would never be dissolved. And then there was a time that they were in 4 separate conferences. Not that long after we thought it was infallible.
Right.
There's nothing off the table here.
No.
And that leads me to a wonderful comment in our YouTube chat from Kelvin Joyner that said, any word on the whispers about the Pac-12 and the ACC combining to form the Manifest Destiny Conference, which is, by the way, all I'm ever going to call that from now on. I have heard something about that, and there's a possibility that it could make sense. I'll tell you what that is after the break.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic's still a little bit heavy and slow for us with a wreck taking out the right lane. This is going to be on the westbound side of 240 in Buncombe in between Chun's Cove Road and Haywood Street. Just a heads up for a little extra congestion here. 26 east and westbound rolling accident free. Same goes for I-40. A little bit of some construction on the east and westbound side between 25 and Dunsmore Avenue. Watch for a little bit of a potential delay here. Tom Miner with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Sign up for Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program and get exclusive rewards to help level up your business. Program subject to terms and conditions, valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms subject to change.
DQ presents the sound of a summer double play. It's the sound of drumstick pieces and peanuts combined with world famous soft serve to make 2 all-star treats. The Drumstick with Peanuts Blizzard and new Caramel Drumstick with Peanuts Blizzard. Grab one today or get it delivered at DQ.com. Official treat of MLB. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Grab your golf clubs and head out to Kenmure Country Club for the 2022 Mike Tweed Memorial Rocket Open. It's on Monday, July 25th with a 12:30 shotgun start. Your team entry includes 2 mulligans per player, a long drive contest, closest to the pin, and a par 3 challenge. Box lunches provided as well. To get registered, email BigJoeGreen7@gmail.com. That's Big Joe Green with an E, 7@gmail.com. Or call 828-243-8076. And get ready for a great day on the links with the Reynolds Rockets.
Don't miss incredible Macy's Black Friday and July specials, like 50% off designer dresses for any occasion. And complete the look with 30 to 50% off summer shoes and sandals. And get 40 to 60% off gadgets and cookware from Martha Stewart collection. Or get an extra 25% off with your coupon or Macy's card. Plus, download the Macy's app for even more great deals. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
This summer, fire up your imagination with Audible. Listen to comedies, thrillers, mysteries, and more. It's everything you want in audio entertainment, all in the Audible app. Sign up for a free 30-day trial at audible.com.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
Right you are, Pepper, and we're talking about the conference chaos around college football. It's going to have an effect on basketball, but we all know that football is driving this. Football is the moneymaker. It is the thing that everybody's focused on. So while I'm concerned that North Carolina may leave the ACC and leave Duke to go to another conference,
you're not going to get left out in the cold.
No, you're not.
That's what you, at this point, should be worried about.
It's the most fiscally responsible thing that North Carolina, Clemson, Virginia, and Florida State can do is to join the winner. If you can't beat them, join them. So go to the SEC. Get your money.
And they're basically being handed their way out from ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
If ESPN's trying to void this deal, which I have no reason to believe that's not true, reading tea leaves, a little conspiracy theory.
Well, especially if these 4 teams leave. If these 4
even
teams
without
leave,
that, but this is ESPN being proactive. Of there is no humanly possible way that you can survive this way. There's just not one. You can't have a media deal this bad with no ability to add teams, because there was an agreement when the grant of rights were signed over that you can't add any more teams to this and cut our share of the pie anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the ACC's stuck. But here's the one thing you got to remember. For the vast majority of schools in the ACC, you're the prettiest girl at the bar. You're the prettiest girl at the bar, and it's early. You know, this is not like last call where you're just trying to pair off with, well, you're here, so let's chat.
Right.
That's not where we're at. And what Kelvin asked in our YouTube comments is, well, what about the potential pairing with the Pac-12 and the ACC? These schools are calling about everything. The Pac-12 is the definition of a last call.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have anything. Oregon and Washington, it's not an allure. It's not what you think it is. Oregon will take care of themselves. That's it. Because they don't care about a media deal. They have Papa Phil. Washington is tied with them because they are alluring, but they're not that alluring. UCLA and USC were tied at the hip. There was no way you were getting one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
There was a way you were getting these two, because even think about the rivalry with Oregon. If Oregon and USC didn't play,
nobody cares.
Does that break your heart?
No.
You know what it reminds me of? Maryland. And those two schools have always reminded me a lot of each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the ones I think has to be nervous. You have to be sitting here going, okay, whoever offers to dance with me, I'm going to need to dance with them soon, or you will get left out.
Mm-hmm.
That it is geographically isolated. It is not nearly as alluring as people think. And I go back to something I say a lot. Just because you're competitive does not mean you're attractive to these conferences. Now, the ACC, you have a ton of schools that are. Louisville is. If Louisville can't go to the SEC because Kentucky says no, I'll guarantee you they end up in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, there's not going to be a school that has that much money that gets left out in the cold. Virginia and Virginia Tech. Can't tell you you're going together, but you're going somewhere. You're not going to end up in some Pac-12 coalition of nonsense. Florida State, Miami, Virginia, or Clemson, that's the one I forgot there. North Carolina, Duke, NC State.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I'm telling you, and I don't want it to be this way, but it is this way. The one I would be nervous about is Wake Forest.
Okay.
They're in the bottom 5 of Power 5 schools in revenue generation.
Mm-hmm.
So athletic department budget. Now, I've said on this show they have some boosters that are coming through with some money that's making them more attractive. Our buddy, sexiest coach in America, Steve Forbes, is making the basketball program attractive. I don't think you can do enough in a short period of time to make you attractive enough unless you pair off. There's only 2 ways you're doing that. If you pair off with the Stanford, Duke, Notre Dame, smart school table,
right.
I don't even know how to say that.
Right.
Or you pair up with the 3 North Carolina schools. And I hate to break this to you, they don't need you.
No.
North Carolina, Duke, and NC State do not need you.
Mm-mm.
They will be plenty attractive enough because they do all of the things. They check every box. Are they good at football? In large part, no.
Right.
They still make money.
Mm-hmm.
They're still formidable enough to make enough money to not be Vanderbilt. And that's what you're looking for. As this has gone on, I'm more and more convinced. When we did the breakdown of this, I had 4 super conferences. There was a West Coast that was basically the Pac-12, and the Mountain West had a gross child of unwatchable football.
Whole bunch of San
and big
Jose
markets.
states, yeah.
That ain't happening. The Pac-12 has one way out of this. You're going to have to pair it with the Big 12.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the report was yesterday. The Big 12 is negotiating or reaching out to get 4 to 6 teams from the Pac-12 to join them, make this, 18-team super conference. And, the names that were floated out there that have been specifically mentioned, it was the Arizona schools.
It's Arizona State, Colorado, Utah.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 home run swings. Stop talking about Oregon and Washington. Those get put into every story.
Mm-hmm.
Every conference would take them and go, yay, at face value. And then they would go behind closed doors and go, that can't be the best we do. No matter how this ends, that cannot be the best thing that we do.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Oregon's a much better brand than that, though.
They're not. They're not. They take care of themselves. This is where your revenue generation comes in. Because they don't make as much money for everybody else as they make for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Where they just kill people is having Nike. So you got the jerseys and the swag and the merch and all of those things, which is very attractive to a recruit. You look at a story that came out today of schools that are offering to players, if you'll let us put a jersey out with your name on it, we'll cut you into a share of the profits.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a school in the country that's more alluring than Oregon?
No.
The problem is their media rights aren't worth squat because nobody cares about watching them play Arizona or BYU or Baylor, or I could keep doing this.
Right.
UCLA is more attractive than them. I know that's hard to rationale. It was hard for me to rationale, but it's the truth. Washington is not far behind them. You have an allure, but you're not the heavy hitters. What we're waiting on now is where the ACC school is going to go. Mm-hmm. Everybody else will react in kind. Because if the SEC and Big Ten split them up, which is almost invariably going to happen, then everybody else will figure out, much like 155 when the bartender says last call, well, we're here. We're here. Yeah. So how are you?
It seems like an unthinkable thing that North Carolina could split away from the Big Four. But that's exactly what's being reported, as them, Virginia, Florida State, and Clemson are apparently in negotiations, according to Swim. So take that for what it's worth, to join the SEC. Coming up after the Sports Center update, we will have of course, the third hour of the program on the way, and we'll do the daily draft where Jeremy and I will go head-to-head and draft the biggest busts in the NFL draft of the last 10 years.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat advisories continue for large chunks of North Carolina into the evening. Couple of splash and ash storms in from the west. A muggy 72 degrees tonight here across the foothills. More thunderstorms for Friday and Saturday. Highs near 90. Cooler numbers Sunday, Monday. Looking forward to that. That's your Hickory Metro weather from the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore on Oldies Radio for the Hickory Metro.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has the innovative tech and tools you need to take on the future of work, all at great prices. Right now, save up to $260 on select PCs. In-store only, offer N79 limit 2 while supplies last. The latest tech solutions are at Staples, the working and learning store.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic still stop and go. 26 westbound in between New Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. Just a heads up for a little bit of some delay here. No real troubles to tell you about on 26 east or westbound. We're rolling pretty well right around 40. Long Shoals Road, also 191. A little bit of some road construction still tying up the drive on the east and westbound side of I-40 between 25 and Dunsmore Avenue. Tom Miter with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has the innovative tech and tools you need to take on the future of work, all at great prices. Right now, save up to $260 on select PCs. In-store only, offer N79 limit 2 while supplies last. The latest tech solutions are at Staples, the working and learning store.
The Sportsocracy.
You are a regular nuclear meltdown. You better cool off.
From the Ingles studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Rafael Nadal already holds a record 22 Grand Slam titles, but he won't be adding to his total this weekend. After practicing today, Nadal withdraws from Wimbledon with a torn abdominal muscle.
Don't make sense to go, even if I tried a lot of time during all my career to keep going under very tough circumstances in that one. I think it's obvious that if I keep going, the injury gonna be worse and worse.
Nadal was supposed to play Nick Kyrgios in the semifinals tomorrow. Ons Jabeur and Elena Rybakina will play for the women's title on Saturday. In Russia today, Brittany Griner pleads guilty to bringing hashish oil into the country. Griner says she accidentally broke the law and asked the court for mercy. She'll be in court again next Thursday. Texas running back Keelan Robinson pawning the 3 championship rings he won while playing for Alabama 2 years ago. The SEC, Rose Bowl, and College Football Playoff championship rings are listed for $60,000.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Bills. That's Bills. Enter it now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
And the Sportsocracy is live for our third hour here in the Ingles studio. As always, check us out on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat here each and every day in our new 3-hour journey together on ESPN Asheville. We do the top of the third hour, the Daily Draft. And the Daily Draft today is all centered around the 12 Bones question of the day. 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery prize pack on the line each and every week here in the Sportsocracy. Get on our social medias, answer the question of the day, or you can do it in the chat as well. We choose the best response each and every day. And then the end of the week, which is coming up tomorrow, we will be drawing a winner for this week's prize pack from 12 Bones Smokehouse and Brewery. The question of the day, biggest NFL bust of the last 10 years, so since the 2012 NFL Draft.
And as the reigning, defending
here it goes.
champion of this here segment after yesterday's daily draft of throwback jerseys, which was a sheer absolute evisceration.
It was a domination on your part. Congratulations for that.
I get the first pick in this. And for me, I don't really even have to think about this hard because there is only one number one overall pick that has been drafted in the last 10 years that I look at and go, you are the reason your team was not better than you were.
Mm-hmm.
So my number one selection is Mr. Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield, the number one pick in the draft busts of the last 10 years.
I firmly believe that's the biggest bust of the last 10 years. And I have a different interpretation of that word.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's the worst player that's been drafted. Number one pick is supposed to be your cornerstone, no doubt piece for many, 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 many years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking Joe Burrow. I'm looking Andrew Luck, had he not had the injury issues. Matthew Stafford, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning. That's what that's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's not who this is. And you reached to draft him. I'd said the year that they took him one, there were three quarterbacks that would have made sense here. I wouldn't have liked one. Baker Mayfield didn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
He was the least athletic of the bunch. He was the smallest of the bunch. He had the smallest upside of the bunch.
I couldn't believe it when, leading up to draft night, there was all the news that, the Cleveland Browns there's word that they're really looking at taking Baker Mayfield number one overall. And I, along with so many other people, laughed about that and went, yeah, that makes total sense. Browns going Brown. They're going to do the thing that they shouldn't do. It's just been the hallmark of the Browns organization for many, many, many years. Baker Mayfield was a bad choice. Like milk on a hot San Diego afternoon.
It's a horrible choice.
Baker is a bad, bad choice. All right, number one pick goes to Baker Mayfield, the number one pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. So, with my pick, first in the NFL Draft bust of the last 10 years, daily draft, I'm going to take another Cleveland Brown pick. It's Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson was taken third overall in the 2012 draft. And he was supposed to be the next Adrian Peterson. That's all we heard in the run-up to the draft. He was great at Alabama. Why was he not going to come into the league and just set the world on fire? And the only thing he did was set his career on fire. His rookie year was okay. I mean, he had 950 yards, scored 11 touchdowns. It looked like it was pretty good. And then the rest of his career happened. This is part of the thing I was talking about yesterday with Micah Parsons. I'm glad you had a great rookie season. But there are so many examples of guys having good rookie seasons and then flaming out after that. Trent Richardson is no different. The hype was just so high with him, and the fact that he was taken as a running back in the top 5 of the draft, you got to hit that. And I would say he is one of the biggest busts. To me, the biggest bust of the last 10 years.
I can't fault you for that one solely because two teams fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
When two teams fall for you, that kind of raises your probability of being really, 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 really high on one of these lists.
Right. And Cleveland thought they had not, they thought we've hit the gold mine here after the first year. But you also have to look at, the dude averaged like 3 yards a carry.
Oh, he was awful.
He was terrible.
And then he got gigantimous.
Exactly. He was out of the league by 2015. He didn't even last, 4 seasons in the NFL. And the latest, he is playing football down in Chihuahua, Mexico.
Which is just insane to say out loud.
Mm-hmm. So Trent Richardson is my number one pick. I get to start the second round. You know what? I'm going to go same draft, one pick earlier. It's RG3.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Oh, no.
What? I mean, the trade was ridiculous. And then RG3, of course, I mean, he had a great rookie year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, made the Pro Bowl, which, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But still, he had a good, promising rookie year. And then the injuries happened. And sure, he stuck around in the league for a while, but he was never a starting level quarterback in this league. And God, it was just such a disappointment from what he was supposed to be. The hype was so big, all of the people talking about, oh, he's the next Michael Vick, he's the next Randall Cunningham, he's the next, dual threat quarterback star. And it never materialized. So, my second pick, RG3, number 2 pick in the 2012 draft.
That was a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
I'm not going to lie. There are 2 players I really want to come out of this with.
Okay.
But I have a funny feeling that you're not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So with my second pick, I'm going to take Mr. Blake Bortles.
Ugh.
Here's my rationale.
Okay.
Do you realize the players that they took him in front of?
This should be fun.
Khalil Mack,
Ooh.
Mike Evans,
Yikes.
Anthony Barr, Odell Beckham Jr., Aaron Donald, Zach Martin. Yikes. It's a bad sign when a quarterback doesn't get a second chance. Josh Rosen got a second chance to start in this league, and he couldn't play a tree in a child's play. Speaking of Josh Rosen, with my third pick,
here he goes.
I can't resist the urge to take a quarterback who is just unbelievably bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to take Josh Rosen.
Okay.
Usually I reserve bust for who could you have had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't in any way think the Arizona Cardinals could have made Lamar Jackson a thing. I don't care. There were so many red flags with Josh Rosen that his scouting report looked to me like a NASCAR race in a rainstorm. He was awful, but he's got an arm. Yeah, because in the Pac-12 at that point, they basically played glorified 7-on-7. He was a dumpster fire between the ears, and the sheer fact you fell for him is comical. Back-to-backer with Blake Bortles, Josh Rosen, and now I sit back and I hope that you don't do what I'm afraid you're going to do.
Okay. Well, with my next pick, I'm going to go, you know what? It worked so well the first 2 times. Let's just go right back to the well with the 2012 draft. Because there was another pick in that 2012 draft that absolutely flamed out in more ways than one, if you want to talk about it that way.
That is cheap.
I'm sorry.
Accurate, but cheap.
Yeah. 3 of the top 5 picks in the 2012 draft were just absolute abject disasters, and the next one on the list is number 5 pick of 2012, Justin Blackmon, who played, not started, played 20 games in his NFL career. He couldn't stop doing the drugs, couldn't stop smoking the marijuanas, and guess what happened? Complete flame out of a career.
And I don't disagree with you on anything you just said. My bone of contention with Justin Blackmon is he was actually really good.
Uh-huh.
When he was on the field,
Absolutely.
He was a pretty good receiver on a pretty bad team.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Which makes it even worse to me.
I get it. I'm wiping my brow. You did not take who I wanted. So now I have to survive one more of the bullets that you have.
All right. Well, let's go to the next year, 2013.
See, this is the one that I couldn't take anybody because it was such an absolute joke. Like, nobody was good.
Mm-hmm.
There was no right answer. Everybody was terrible.
Well, it's funny that you put it that way, because this guy, his entire career was a joke.
Oh, I thought you were going to cheat and say I take the whole top 10 in the 2013 draft, and I might have let you do it.
And his last name is Jokel. Luke Jokel was the number 2 overall pick in 2013. And the guy just, I mean, in 1 year, he went from being like supposed to be the next great left tackle in the NFL to, yeah, he played. But according to PFF, which we talk about a lot on this program, he was the worst left tackle in the league his second year in. 8 sacks allowed. He only made 39 starts in 4 years. And then no one would touch him again. I take that back. Seattle tried it, moved him to left guard, and he sucked there too.
Yeah, he was not a good football
Luke
player.
Jokel, awful, number 2 pick. So I know a lot of people will throw out, like I've seen DeAndre Baker mentioned in conversation of biggest draft busts and stuff like that.
If you're not in the top 10, I didn't even look at you.
That's what I'm saying. It can't,
Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel went 22.
Right. You got to spend super high draft capital on a guy who was supposed to change your franchise, because that's what you're supposed to be picking at the top 10.
I like that you said that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because both of the guys I want are still on the board.
All right.
And I think I'm going to get some pushback for this. So, we'll take a break, and then we'll tell you who these guys are.
You're in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic around Asheville this afternoon moving a little bit slow now on 26 westbound between New Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. Just a heads up for a little bit of some delay here. Still some construction work as well, tying up the drive on the east and westbound side of I-40 between 25 and Dunsmore Avenue. Traffic flowing pretty well right now on 26 east and westbound around I-40. Same goes between Long Shoals Road and 191. Tom Miner with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If summer is heating up your hiring needs, then you need Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Sponsor your first job and get hiring today by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
With the PhD weight loss system, I have lost over 70 pounds. I hit my 70-pound mark officially last week, and the numbers on my scale continue to dwindle down. I'm getting better nutrition. I'm getting more exercise. My aches and pains have practically disappeared.
Over the long weekend, I played 2 rounds of golf. To most of you, that does not sound like an over-the-top amount of activity, but for me, before PhD, it would have been. My back would have hurt, but because I've lost so much weight, I'm in so much better shape, physical activity isn't wearing me out like it used to. I'm almost down to my target weight, and it's all thanks to the program and food of PhD Weight Loss.
The absolute all-star of the program, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has the plan to help you drop the pounds and hopefully change your habits so that you won't have to deal with that weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Spending time outdoors can improve overall health and wellness. Celebrate Earth Day and take advantage of nature's health benefits by visiting a local park. Recreate responsibly to protect yourself and others, and to make the outdoors safe and welcoming for people of all identities and abilities. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, we're all in for summer. Whether you're hitting the trails, hitting the water, or hitting the golf ball, we have everything you need for the perfect picnic, the greatest grill out, and the best beach vacation. We know that the mountains are calling, the open road awaits, and that pool party is ready to rock. So head on over to Ingles and stock up on all the goodies to get you through your summer of freedom. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
These guys are a f***ing disgrace.
And we're doing the draft of the busts. The top 5, I guess top 10, because we each get 5 picks in the daily draft today. NFL busts out of the last 10 years.
And there's going to be so much gnashing of teeth over mine. Because we've put this out on socials. We've had it in the comments. I have yet to hear anybody say the 2 names I'm getting ready to say.
Okay, let's catch up, everybody, if you're just joining us, where we are with the draft so far. Jeremy won yesterday for the best throwbacks of all sports history, which I have no problem with. His list was phenomenal. He snaked the Charlotte Hornets away from me. I erred on my own biases and went with the creamsicles of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers first, and I lost out on the Hornets. I feel like if I had got the Hornets too, maybe I'd have had a chance to win that one. But it is what it is. Jeremy got the first pick. So he went with Baker Mayfield first. Then at the turn, I got Trent Richardson and RG3. Then he goes Blake Bortles and Josh Rosen. And then I just took Justin Blackmon in all his smoky glory. And Luke, my career was an absolute jokel, was my last pick. Now, for Jeremy's 4th round pick.
I'm going to make my 2 selections together.
Oh, okay.
Because that is how they were selected in real life. My 2 picks are Jared Goff and Carson Wentz.
Wow, okay.
Now, you're going to say, but Jared Goff got him to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He sure did, and he didn't win it. And it cost them a fortune to get up to him, and it cost them a fortune to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
So the team became very expensive. Number 1 pick of the draft that you gave up a boatload for. Has he ever played like that?
No.
Has he ever been that guy?
No.
Did he hold the Rams back? Did he waste Todd Gurley's prime? All of these are yes.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
I could argue the Philadelphia Eagles are still recovering from that.
Okay.
Now you're stuck with Jalen Hurts because you had to take a quarterback in the 2nd round because you were still invested in Wentz. But he couldn't stay healthy. Then you had to get rid of him. Now he's bounced around the league. He's now on his 3rd team that I could argue he is going to let down.
Mm-hmm.
And now here's the real reason that I look at these 2. A, if you miss on a franchise quarterback and they don't become a franchise quarterback for you, they're a bust. That is my opinion of bust. Will be forever.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those drafts, I may not win this one, but I will sit back with the self-satisfied satisfaction of knowing I'm right. Would you like to hear just the players that went after this?
Absolutely.
Joey Bosa, one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Ramsey, one of the best corners in the league. Ronnie Stanley, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. DeForest Buckner, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Laramie Tunsil, one of the best offensive tackles in the league. You bypassed all of that to reach on 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That one of them hamstrung your franchise to the point of you haven't had a 1st-round draft pick in 5 years. And you don't have another one for a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're Philadelphia, I want you to think about what I'm going to say. Look at Philadelphia's roster. It's a good team. What if they had hit on that franchise quarterback? What if you had that roster with what is actually supposed to be a franchise quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
You would be one of the 2 favorites in the NFC. And I will to my dying day say that. Because the Rams are thin,
mm-hmm.
the Buccaneers have a 96-year-old geriatric quarterback, and the Packers have no receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I would have no flaw. The Jalen Reagor pick probably would not look as bad as it was because I have a franchise quarterback that can use the deep threat. You have been doing nothing but chasing your tail, trying to make up for the error in that trade since you made it.
And who was the franchise quarterback supposed to be?
There wasn't one in the draft.
Okay. So
that's the point, though, is that I didn't talk to I loved Carson Wentz. I will tell you, I missed that one aggressively. I look at that 1 year of the MVP caliber. Had it not been for injury, kind of like RG3, I think he could have been a special player in this league. The Jared Goff thing never made a lick of sense to me. It never made one iota of sense to me. It was as stupid as the Baker Mayfield move, and you traded up to get him.
To me, that's part of the reason I never considered either of these guys. What else
and I knew
were
you
supposed to do?
And take the Hall of Famers. There are at least 5 Hall of Famers that went in the top 15 of that draft.
But you would have been killed. You'd have been absolutely killed.
Or, I can't emphasize this enough, don't trade up.
Oh, sure. Now,
because the Rams, I could even go back to Sam Bradford and say, that's why you did that. You boo-boo kittied another one of these, and that's why you were in the position to do this in the first place.
Right.
Philadelphia Eagles, Kevin Kolb. That's why you were in the position to do this in the first place. I'm not going to win this, but I'm not going to lie. I'm going to look back on this and go, I won that.
I won that.
that.
Oh, shocker of shockers. Jeremy thinks he wins everything. All right, my final pick in the daily draft, the biggest draft busts of the last 10 years. You know, I have so many choices here that could be personal insults to you.
Oh, you made a Jets list?
No,
why you gotta be a jerk?
There was one. There was one on my list.
D. Milliner?
D. Milliner. He was
who played about 9 more snaps for the Jets than I did.
Yeah, he was on my draft board. However, I feel like this one was just, again, this is a guy that the hype was so big on when he was coming out, and the Chicago Bears just couldn't help themselves. They were going after that superstar wide receiver, and they hailed from West Virginia. Take me home, country roads. And Kevin White could not stay healthy to save his life. But he was the number 7 pick in the 2015 NFL draft. He only played 23 games in 5 years in the league.
And he was not good at footballs.
No. But he was so good in college. He was dynamic.
He was gigantic and fast.
Yeah.
Those are two things. Look, there's always been a saying that money and women are the 2 things that'll make smart guys stupid. 2 of the things that will make smart talent evaluators stupid is tall and fast. Deion Jordan, I'm looking right at you.
Deion Jordan was a name that was mentioned a lot on the social medias.
All right, so this is an element of this that I did not tell you about. I wanted you to be surprised. When I saw you making a list,
yes,
this was an element that was opined on our social media. This is called the undrafted free agent.
The undrafted free agent.
I have a guy that I adamantly want.
Okay.
The idea was we say a name at the same time. If it's the same name, neither of us get him. If it's a different name, we both get the guy that we selected.
A biggest draft bust.
Biggest draft bust of all time.
Of all time?
Or of the last 10 years.
Okay.
And I really hope yours is not – I really hope it's not the same guy because I struggled with not taking this guy.
Okay. Ready?
1, 2, 3. Mitchell
Roberto
Trubisky.
Aguayo.
Yes! Yes!
I had to throw Roberto Aguayo in there because, I mean, I get he wasn't a top pick. He wasn't even a first-round draft pick. But – you spent a second-round draft pick on a kicker, and he turned out to be the worst kicker of all time. I mean, you could have had a kicker out there with no legs, and he would have been better than Roberto Aguayo.
There was once a kicker with no actual foot that was more accurate than Roberto Aguayo.
Jack Dempsey was killer. Wasn't that his name? Jack Dempsey?
That went so exactly how I thought it was going to, and it may become my new favorite element of the show.
Okay.
Because I was 99% sure if I held off on Trubisky, you would have saved some Tampa Bay Buccaneer that you just wanted on your team.
Bingo.
And you would go for it right there.
Yep.
I'm going to have to dig back and figure out whose idea that was. I love that idea.
Mitchell Trubisky is a great one. And you also consider that the Chicago Bears traded up to get him.
And you bypassed Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm. That was John Lynch's first brilliant move as a GM in this league.
Well,
now his pick after that, maybe not so
I was
much.
about to say, the only problem is that you absolutely just demolish them in this trade and then go, we'll take Solomon Thomas.
Right.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
That's my new favorite. I love that segment so much.
All right, so the daily draft lists will be coming out on the social medias. Go and vote, decide who was the winner. So that will decide who has the number one pick in tomorrow's daily draft. Again, the list: Baker Mayfield, Blake Bortles, Josh Rosen, Jared Goff, and Carson Wentz are Jeremy's team, with an undrafted free agent of Mitchell Trubisky.
You notice a trend?
It's all quarterbacks. It's
It's hard for you to be a bust to me when it's a wide receiver.
No, I think when you can only play like 6 games, you're bust.
And I don't look. I'm not saying they're not busts. I'm just saying, but you mess a quarterback like this, it will cripple your franchise.
My team: Trent Richardson, RG3, Justin Blackmon, Luke Jokel, Kevin White, and the undrafted free agent Roberto Aguayo. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Coming up next, don't do crimes.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat advisories continue for large chunks of North Carolina into the evening. Couple of splash and ash storms in from the west. A muggy 72 degrees tonight here across the foothills. More thunderstorms for Friday and Saturday. Highs near 90. Cooler numbers Sunday, Monday. Looking forward to that. That's your Hickory Metro weather from the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore on Oldies Radio for the Hickory Metro.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
A little bit of some heavy delays still continuing now on the westbound side of 26 in between New Airport Road and Long Shoals Road through Henderson. No accidents here, just a lot of volume and merge delay. Much of the same now in Buncombe. Traffic a little heavy now on the southbound side of 25 between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Still looking at some road construction as well, tying us up on 40 in both directions between 25 and Dunsmore Avenue. Tom Miner with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Try Taco Bell's new cheesy double beef burritos now. A melty 3-cheese blend with nacho cheese sauce and double the seasoned beef in classic and spicy. At participating stores for a limited time while supplies last. Prices vary, tax extra. Double the seasoned beef as compared to beefy melt burrito.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Stop companies like Google from watching you by downloading the DuckDuckGo app today. Comprehensive privacy with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
With the PhD weight loss system, I have lost over 70 pounds. I hit my 70-pound mark officially last week, and the numbers on my scale continue to dwindle down. I'm getting better nutrition. I'm getting more exercise. My aches and pains have practically disappeared.
Over the long weekend, I played 2 rounds of golf. To most of you, that does not sound like an over-the-top amount of activity, but for me, before PhD, it would have been. My back would have hurt, but because I've lost so much weight, I'm in so much better shape, physical activity isn't wearing me out like it used to. I'm almost down to my target weight, and it's all thanks to the program and food of PhD Weight Loss.
The absolute all-star of the program, Dr. Ashley Lucas, has the plan to help you drop the pounds and hopefully change your habits so that you won't have to deal with that weight problem any longer. Go to myphdweightloss.com. That's myphdweightloss.com. PhD Weight Loss, the official weight loss program of the Clemson Tigers and their fans.
Real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
We know what that sound means, and it's time to talk about crimes. Don't do crimes. And today I'm going to give you the, because I consider this a stupid crime. Detained WNBA star Brittany Griner pled guilty today to drug charges in Russia. We've all heard the story. She had hashish oil in her bag when she was landing in Russia, and obviously that is a big no-no. But today, hoping for leniency from the court, which is one of the dumbest things I think I've ever heard. I'm looking for leniency from a Russian court.
Well, this is how it works.
Oh, I get it.
There was absolutely so. I don't know if you missed this or she had to plead guilty.
Yes.
There was no choice.
Right,
for them to facilitate anything, she's going to have to plead guilty.
Right. They would not do a prisoner swap or anything if she did not admit guilt in this. So I get it. But the fact that the lawyer said we're hoping for leniency from a Russian court just baffles my mind. And then the explanation that she gave in court, apparently I didn't mean to break Russian laws. Oh, really? I mean, unless you just had these, these vials of hashish oil thinking that, this is legal everywhere. You knew what country you were going to.
Yeah, don't do crimes specifically in foreign countries.
Right. Did you possibly think that this was legal in Russia? I mean, I could understand if you're going to Amsterdam or something. Okay. Probably not going to get in trouble for that. But you're going to one of the strictest countries on the planet. You couldn't possibly have thought that that was a good idea. And if it was enough for them to charge you with, what was it? They charged her with trying to mass
distribution.
Yeah, distribution. I was going to say mass produce, but that was wrong. But yeah, if they're going to charge you with enough for distribution on this kind of thing, and I get that, Russia lies and all that, and we get it. But
at Sports Thank ESPN.
And that's fine. That's fine. Come after me. Come on, Vladdy. I'm ready. I will never go to Russia.
He would beat you senseless.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about that.
There's pictures of him on a horse.
Right.
Shirtless.
I didn't mean to take this into the country. Oh, so you bought the stuff and just weren't planning on taking it with you anywhere. You're going to leave that behind in your hotel room? I don't buy any of it. Don't do crimes. It's very simple.
And see, for me, and you know what, you can glean what you want to about me from this. I think it's stupid. That's a crime. My story, however, it is not stupid that this is a crime. My perpetrator, his name is Jason Stoll. He's 47 and he's from Tampa Bay, Florida.
Stoll.
And of course, going back to Florida, he sold hot dogs in a place that had been zoned to allow him to sell hot dogs.
Okay.
Well, then they changed the city ordinance, and around 12 a.m. Saturday, St. Petersburg police showed up and told him he could no longer sell hot dogs in the roadway because now the street closure permit had ended and he was no longer allowed to sell hot dogs.
Okay.
So when the officer told him that, you would think he would stop selling hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
He continued selling hot dogs.
Okay.
And apparently when they asked him again, he became so enraged that he threw a hot dog at the officer who was in full uniform at the time.
Don't do that.
No word in the story if this dog consisted of mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise, all those things stained. I hope they didn't. I hope it was just a plain dog. I don't know who would order one of those, but I hope so. He was arrested and posted $2,500 bail. Just a little note. This is a court note, which I had never seen these in one of these court stories. Apparently, this man has a slew of tattoos, and one of them is on his face, and it says, "Hustle, eat, sleep, repeat." That one's funny. The other one is apparently on his arm, and it says, and I quote, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger."
Oh.
Fortuitous tattoos for Mr. Stoll.
Yes.
He faces. I'm just curious to see if you can guess what the prison sentence is on this. And this is not a maximum of if convicted, he will face blank.
Mm-hmm.
This is a minimum sentence in the state of Florida.
3 years.
It's 3 years.
Yeah.
He will do 3 years for throwing a hot dog at a cop.
Because that's assault on a police officer.
Be nice to cops, okay? They're our friends. They're out to protect us. Don't throw hot dogs. Don't throw hot dogs at anybody, but certainly don't throw them at cops. And as always in this segment, don't do crimes.
Don't do crimes. It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Yesterday, we brought you the story, and I still maintain it's one of the dumbest things I've heard this offseason, of Micah Parsons saying that one day he believes that he and Trayvon Diggs could be better than Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
And say, I don't think that's as ludicrous as you do. Look, I love Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the shut-down, no-doubt corner that he's made out to be.
Okay.
He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
I hear people put him in the same sentence as Darrelle Revis, and I just get outwardly angry.
Okay.
He's very good, but to say Trayvon Diggs couldn't become that, I mean, you got to remember, Trayvon Diggs was a receiver a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's still learning the position. I didn't think this was as crazy as you did. I would say they're one of the best young defensive pairings in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just taking for this year, they're not going to be in my top handful.
Mm-hmm.
But long term, Micah Parsons is 22 years old.
Oh, yeah. If you're looking at making a futures duo list, maybe they are number one. I don't know that I'd have them number one, but maybe.
This ruffled your feathers so bad, and I really don't know why.
Again, I'm just going to keep saying it's because you are trying to put yourselves in the category of all-time greats, and you've had 1 year in the league. Don't do that.
No, I mean, and I feel like it may have put a little pressure on you that was unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Micah Parsons, all right, ESPN I'm just curious to see if you agree with them here.
Okay.
ESPN is doing a daily list of executives polled top players at each position.
Okay.
Where would you have Micah Parsons?
At the linebacker position?
Because they did they voted on him as a true linebacker and not an edge rusher.
God, he'd be top 5, maybe 3.
They had him 2, and I think it's too low.
Really?
He's my 1.
Immediate number 1 linebacker in the league.
Didn't even think about it. Darius Leonard would be my 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would get into the Fred Warner area.
Mm-hmm.
Devin White would fall in there somewhere, and I would hope he was last month of the season Devin White, not I can do all of the things except the most basic of things.
Right. He'd definitely be in my top 5, but not.
I think I had Devin White at 5 when I did this.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the names going, I love Darius Leonard. I think he's a fantastic player, but he's very scheme-specific.
Mm-hmm.
Micah Parsons is not. To me, he'd be the number 1 linebacker in the league.
Okay.
So, and I guess I'm looking at that going, for what Aaron Donald does, which is a weird position, by the way, he's been one of the most impactful players in NFL history doing what he does. I could argue that based off what I saw for 1 year of Micah Parsons, he very easily could be an old-school throwback linebacker in the vein of a Lawrence Taylor. We haven't seen one of those in a very long time.
True.
And so I kind of get it. I mean, yeah, Trayvon Diggs has to be better than what I've seen, but not – I mean, he doesn't have to become a new player.
Right.
He just has to round off what he does and get better at what he does.
Right. So that made us think, who are the best duos in the league? And as I see it, Jeremy, you said you had a hard time coming up with a great list of duos, but I didn't find it all that hard. I feel like there's a good 3/4 of this league that the defenses have at least 2 guys that you're terrified of.
All right.
But I think chief among them is a team that I'm very high on. Was very high on them last year, and it's the Los Angeles Chargers. You give me Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack all day long.
The funny thing for the Chargers is that I wasn't sure if I wanted to go Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, or if I wanted to go Joey Bosa, Derwin James. They're the best trio in the league, and I don't think it's even debatable.
You could do two of them. You could go edge rushers and secondary with J.C. Jackson and Derwin James, and I'd be completely fine with it. Chargers get 2 entries into the dynamic duos on defense.
Yeah. That was what was so difficult. Dynamic duos of defense.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Good Lord, you like alliteration way too much. I mean, they were my one.
Yeah, they're my one as well.
The Chargers have that Los Angeles Rams build of we are so elite at certain positions that you have to double team, and it messes with the numbers. You just have to stay healthy because it gets thin quite quickly. And I'm okay with that.
Okay. And then, who's your 2?
You're going to call me up. You know what? I'm going to put one in front of them just so you don't call me a homer. Oh, God. That's Chandler Jones and Max Crosby.
Yeah, they're my 2 as well. I think it's going to be a great pairing. Chandler Jones, while he is, probably older than some of the edge rushers in the league, or most of the edge rushers in the league, he's still very, very impactful. I mean, his pass rush win rate is still off the charts. You team him up with what Max Crosby was able to do last year, and now they don't know who to block. I think it's got all the makings of a great duo.
If you ranked every division in the NFL by quarterbacks and edge rushers, do you realize how far and away better the AFC West is than every division in the NFL?
Absolutely.
At the 2 most important positions in football?
Mm-hmm. My 3 would be the one on the other side of the Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs conversation, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. It's hard to beat that.
See, I thought Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey was an assumed one.
Oh, you think they're number 1?
I thought they were an assumed one. I didn't really even I didn't entertain. I thought this was what's after that.
Well, what else? Okay.
Because I would have had Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs next.
Okay.
But the one that I said, you're going to call me a homer, and I know it, it's Von Miller and Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White's a top 5 corner in this league. Von Miller is still an elite pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2 of them together, just knowing how they're going to be implemented, oh, yeah. And that's why I'm so sold on Buffalo as, to me, I'm not going to say overwhelming favorite. If everything stays level, no injuries, no any of those things, I think Buffalo has the greatest room for error of any team in the NFL.
Yep. Baltimore. Marcus Williams. Right? You follow me? Marcus Williams, Marlon Humphrey.
Oh,
and that's one of the best secondary tandems in the
league.
league.
See, it's hard for me. See, I need somebody that can get after a quarterback and somebody that can or 2 pass rushers.
Or 2 pass rushers.
It's hard. I didn't want to go 2 secondary guys.
Okay.
And I'm not going to lie. I tried to shoehorn something for Baltimore because they have so many players I like. I couldn't find one that I felt.
I mean, you could do the same thing for Buffalo. You could do Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde as a dynamic duo. But I feel like there are a lot of just terrifying duos all over the league. I mean, you look at Denver. You got Randy Gregory. I know you said yesterday you're not a big fan of Randy Gregory, but you got Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory. Maybe we should do that at some. I'm sure we will do that.
2 guys that don't tend to love to stay healthy.
Indianapolis.
That was the one that I thought I was going to have that you weren't.
DeForest Buckner and Darius Leonard. There are a lot of these all across the league. I mean, even the New York Giants, I feel like would be on a futures list. You talked about Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. That futures list to me has to include Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, you're getting a little 3-dimensional chess there. We've never seen Kayvon Thibodeau play a game.
Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker. That could be another one. We gotta see it first.
Same thing.
Yeah, you gotta see it first, but it's up there. Now there are some teams that just don't have this.
They have nothing.
Right. I hate to say it, but Carolina Panthers.
Oh, I disagree. I would have said Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns.
Ooh, I forgot about Jeremy Chin.
Yeah, that one was super easy. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of wanted to say J.C. Horn. He just didn't play enough games.
Because I thought about Shaq Thompson, but I don't feel like he's not impactful superstar-ish as we thought he was going to be.
And I'll be honest with you, that's one of the reasons that I don't think this is as crazy of a thought with Micah Parsons as you do. Shaq Thompson's a good linebacker in this league.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that level impactful. He's stereotypical off-ball linebacker in the NFL impactful.
Right.
This is a position that's, I'm not going to say it's almost been eradicated because that's not true. It has become a non-premier position to the level of, I think it's just ahead of running backs and kickers.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to be as impactful as Micah Parsons was, that defense was god-awful the year before.
Mm-hmm.
Micah Parsons shows up, not a lot else changed, and all of a sudden, they were pretty good. They were certainly talented. There were bad times, but I think that was more because you're counting on a corner that doesn't 100% know what he's doing yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a slight. This is just a guy that converted positions in college.
Yeah. So I take back my comment about the Carolina Panthers. I had forgotten about Jeremy Chin. He absolutely falls into that category, and I apologize.
Well, I had to say that so that there wouldn't be angry people outside the door when we got to leave in a few minutes.
Atlanta Falcons, they don't have one.
Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank and the guy that sells hot dogs at the Heineken bar.
Detroit Lions, you don't have that with them.
Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn.
Right.
They're the two scariest people in that defense.
Arizona Cardinals, that was another one I couldn't come up with a dynamic duo on defense for them.
Yeah, they have a lot of young guys that were supposed to be good. That's the Sasquatch defense.
Mm-hmm.
It should be so good because there's so many talented players on it. I've just never really seen it.
Yep. I do also want to throw out San Francisco, though, because I feel like we can't talk about defensive tandems without talking about Fred Warner and Nick Bosa.
San Francisco could have a slew, too.
Is
there a more disrespected player in the NFL than Eric Armstead? Anytime we do lists like that, he just gets gleaned over.
I mean, you've said the same thing about DeForest Buckner.
The DeForest Buckner thing just makes me angry because now we're on two teams. He's been this good.
Mm-hmm.
I think DeForest Buckner's the closest thing in the NFL to Aaron Donald.
I could see that.
He is heavily impactful from a position that has basically been schemed out of this league.
Right.
You just don't see interior pass rushers like that. Even take my team. Quinnen Williams has been he's been everything I thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
There's still people that say, "Oh, he's a bust because he doesn't have the sacks." Very few interior guys do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look down the list of that, you'll realize that you get to 10 and go, "Wow."
Cameron Jordan, DeMario Davis, or would
that
you
would
throw
have been
Marshawn
mine.
Lattimore?
I saw Colin's Super Chat earlier said Cameron Jordan and Marshawn Lattimore, and that was my initial thought was if I was going to do that, I would have him with DeMario Davis.
Yeah.
Who was another underrated player.
He's also not a name, though. And that's what most fans will go to the name.
Yeah, and that's what makes me angry.
Of course,
he should be a name.
Of course, that makes it sound like I'm disparaging Marshawn Lattimore, and that's something I would never do.
Nope.
As a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan who has seen him shut down Mike Evans time after time after time, I try not to do that. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. When we come back, Jeremy will be mad.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Well, my friend, we're getting through the slow traffic together. Still going to be a little extra bit here on the westbound side of 26 in between New Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. The good news, no accidents here, just volume and merge delay. Similarly on 25 southbound between Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road through Buncombe. And still some delay on 40 east and westbound between 25 and Dunsmore Avenue with construction. Tom Miner with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by KFC. The Jack Harlow meal from KFC is here. It comes with a spicy chicken sandwich, a side of mac and cheese, KFC secret recipe fries, ranch, and an ice cold lemonade. That's finger-licking good. Order your Jack Harlow meal today on the KFC app. Prices and participation may vary. Tax and substitutions extra.
Hi, I'm Victoria Salinas, FEMA's Acting Deputy Administrator for Resilience. Hurricane season is here, and you are in a neighborhood that could flood. Here are some low and no-cost tips to help you get set. Store documents like passports and birth certificates in a flood-safe place. Elevate items that you want to protect. Toss out the debris from gutters and drains. Visit floodsmart.gov/set and ready.gov to learn more.
At Progressive, we know there's nothing like the feeling of riding a motorcycle with your crew on the open road. That symphony of engines roaring in perfect harmony. It's a feeling that would be impossible to recreate on the radio. Until now. Hit it, Jerry. Oh, my word. Really, really terrible. Was that a glockenspiel, Jerry? Quote with Progressive and see if you could save with America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
No, Jerry. It's over.
You should be watching the World Cup right now, but you're not. Want to know why? Well, it's an interesting story, a mix of true crime, political scandal, and slow simmering corruption. You'll hear all about it on our new podcast, The Lords of Soccer, How FIFA Stole the Beautiful Game. I'm Connor Powell. The 12-part series from iHeartRadio and Inside Voices is out now. Listen to The Lords of Soccer on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road, Nashville, or call them at 828-365-1663.
Dirty Turkish Sharkaback Flat!
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
Sharkaback Flat! Morton Phillip!
Let the hate flow through you.
One thing that tends to drive me absolutely crazy is overreaction. And this is the summer of overreaction, as it is in sports talk every single year. Because we get on the backside of the NFL draft, the NBA finals, the Stanley Cup finals, and, well, there's just not a ton to talk about sometimes, so you have to get a little creative. 24 hours ago, we were being inundated with how Chet Holmgren had proven that he was going to be a dynamic, unbelievable offensive player in the league. Fast forward 24 hours. He was bullied by Kenneth Lofton Jr. If the name sounds familiar, it should, because his father is former Cleveland Indians outfielder Kenny Lofton. Here's where he's a little different from his father. He's 6'7", 280. He also played for Team USA. You're overreacting to something that he will never be asked to do in the NBA, ever. This is a guy who can't really shoot beyond 6 feet. They put Chet Holmgren on him because it's a summer league game, and they wanted to see, what their new prospect could do in a game that doesn't really matter. Why is it so hard for that to be understood? And it's the same people that were going on and on about the ball handling and the shooting, and he had an off night. He had an off night in a summer league game where he was asked to do something that he won't be asked to do often, if ever, in the NBA. This is going to be one of those players that we just have in the league, where they're so polarizing that we talk about them incessantly. And you've seen it in the first 2 days. Let me break it down for you, because I really want this on tape, so 3 years from now I can remind you that I said it. He's going to be a lanky player in this league. He's also going to bulk up. He's not going to stay a $180 for his NBA career. You know who tells me that? Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who we had the exact same drawback about when they were young players in this league. Calm down. If you don't want to watch the Summer League, don't watch it. Trust me, I won't blame you, because it's pretty hard to watch. But stop overreacting to things that don't matter. I'm mad.
And guess who's next? It's Paolo Banchero. He's going to be making his Summer League debut tonight. So you can look forward to the overreactions that are going to come from that tomorrow.
It's so stupid. I've heard this on every show today. Well, Chet Holmgren was exposed. No, he went up against Oliver Miller's doppelganger because they wanted to see how he would fare. Well, now they know that's not how this is going to work.
How's that for a throwback?
Yeah. Don't say I can't throw out random factoids.
I was going to say, if you had Oliver Miller on today's bingo card,
you're
the winner.
Today's bingo card is not safe for work.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back tomorrow for the Friday edition, 3 o'clock right here in the Ingles studio. We'll have another daily draft, and who knows what other shenanigans we'll get into.
We'll have a good old time on the go home episode for the week.
Indeed. We will see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat advisories continue for large chunks of North Carolina into the evening. Couple of splash and ash storms in from the west. A muggy 72 degrees tonight here across the foothills. More thunderstorms for Friday and Saturday. Highs near 90. Cooler numbers Sunday, Monday. Looking forward to that. That's your Hickory Metro weather from the Weather Channel. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore on the Oldies Radio for the Hickory Metro.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Well, my friend, we're getting through the slow traffic together. Still going to be a little extra bit here on the westbound side of 26 in between New Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. The good news, no accidents here, just volume and merge delay. Similarly on 25 southbound between Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road through Buncombe. And still some delay on 40 east and westbound between 25 and Dunsmore Avenue with construction. Tom Miner with Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Strawberry Frosty. With the Strawberry Frosty, time to enjoy yourself is built in. They're so rich and creamy, they're built for you to slow down, relax, and just take it all in. So when it's time for Frosty time, and Strawberry Frosty time is for a limited time, choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Over 50,000 police officers are assaulted each year. Help police by not escalating. Address any complaints after the encounter. Comply now, complain later. Keep everybody safe. This message brought to you by the National Police Association. Learn more at nationalpolice.org.
Choosing Sides, F1, a podcast about... What are we doing here, Lily?
Well, you're in the right place, Michael. I'm Lily Herman, Formula One expert.
And I'm Michael Costa, comedian, and I'm just going to be honest here, complete F1 newbie.
On this inaugural season of Choosing Sides, we're tackling the historic and controversial sport of Formula One race car driving.
Who are these drivers? Rich kid? Daddy issues.
Daddy issues galore. Listen to Choosing Sides F1 on the iHeartRadio app.
Or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Ingles studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.